Okay. Hello and welcome. Hello. Hey, Ray Card. Hopefully you can hear me okay in the chat. Yeah, thanks for being here. Um, yeah, let's talk Australia, right? The uh the Outback hat, real sheepskin. There you go. The Outback hat, and of course, mandatory Australia T-shirt. Apparently does glow in the dark. I was exercising earlier. But yeah, apparently the stars do glow in the dark, so have to check that out. Hello, hi, holy crap! Got lemon pie here. Hopefully you can hear me okay. And Ray Lecard, thanks for being here. And Suzanne Eckstein, hey, thanks for being here. I'm not sure this glows in the dark or not. Ooh, I think they do. Let me see if I can get the black light here. Okay, black light works for Doomcock Ring. Ho ho ho, look at that. I didn't know these glue in the dark. Cool. All right. Fun. Thanks for being here. Yeah, let's talk about one of my favorite countries in the world and the first country that I really went traveling to internationally. I mean, aside hopping across the border into the United States, of course, which is very common for Canadians to do. But yeah, Australia. I went there when I was 15 years old as part of a world jamboree for the Boy Scouts. There was something like 120 countries there. So fell in love with Australia, and that's why I started traveling. The whole reason why I travel at all and this channel exists is because going and traveling to Australia and falling in love with the country as a Boy Scout. We were there for a month. Cataract Scout Park is just south of Sydney. And got to see Brisbane. It was just incredible, and I've been back 4 times since then, and I've seen almost every single corner, just about. Glad to have you here. Oh, audio is great. Okay, thank you very much. Hello, Miss Ketonic Madman. Hello, and welcome to the Travel Show in Australia. This is the Australian Outback hat that I picked up. This is from 1980. Seven. The Boy Scout Jamboree was 1987. And so this hat has lasted pretty darn well, I think. I obviously have not worn it outside in the rain too much. But yeah, pretty happy with that. Something else that I picked up during that time in Australia, that's right, the traditional beeswax on the mouth didgeridoo. And it is hollowed out by termites. You can tell they didn't put this on a lathe and turn it, which is common these days. No, this isn't. This was put on a mound and hollowed out. And yeah, pretty cool didgeridoo. There is some native, well, Aboriginal carvings, I suppose. Pretty cool. Can I play it? I can hear you asking now. I can make a noise. I don't think I could play. And you got to really like crowd your lips into here. You got to put all your lips in. It's kind of crazy and pucker them right up. I was making noise earlier, I swear. That is hard. That is really hard. Anywho, let's take a look at a couple of photos from Australia, shall we? Love to. Let's start with, we're gonna, yeah, well, now these are the highlights of Australia. So I've, they're all over. They're kind of, um, yeah, they're kind of all over. So they're not, they'll go from one area to another. Uh, so that's the thing. They're not exactly. And how are we going to do that? Yeah, so they're from all over different parts of Australia, and I'll explain as we go. But let's take a look at share screen. Yeah, sure. Let's do that. And perfect. Share. There we go. Now there you can see is, oh hey, it's Matt G. Taylor Swift greater than Disney, Star Wars, and MCU. Hello and thank you. And look, Jim's Landscape. Thank you very much for joining. Hey, hello and welcome. So this is a 3-foot long monitor lizard that I grabbed a picture of in Northern Territory, south of Darwin, sort of over to the east. And this was right walking along 3-foot monitor lizard. Now apparently you don't want to. They're not really aggressive unless you annoy them or if they feel threatened. But they do have a lot of bacteria in their mouth, so you do not want to get bitten by one of those guys. He's 3 foot long, and they're fast too. I wasn't expecting them to be that fast, but they really are. Hey, hello, Nemesis of Eden. Hail to you, you beautiful beings. I bring you. I hope you're all having a wonderful night. Eating Spider-Man, Lemon Pie, Jim's Landscape, Commodore Productions, Suzanne Eckstein, Miskatonic Madman. Yes, having a great evening. I love talking about Australia. And like I said, I've been there, I think 5 times from 1987 until just a few years ago now. But oh yeah, probably more than 6 years ago now. But love it, love the place. So that is not in the wild. Don't panic. That is that is a pointer shark, a great white shark. That is in Sydney Aquarium. I had a friend or I have a friend, still have her. She used to work there as a diver, and there's a picture of her in here feeding the shark later on. So yeah, that's a great white shark in the Sydney Aquarium, and they live quite a long time. So there is a good chance that very shark is possibly still alive. I suppose. Hey, how cool would that be? The Sydney Aquarium had a lot of respect for the animals. They certainly, they seem to really care about them, and they certainly seem to. The divers and people that work there certainly seem to love the animals themselves. So I was really happy to see that. And yeah, so I did manage to go there and snuck in for free that time. But it's expensive to go there, but certainly worth it. So yeah, great white shark in the Sydney Aquarium. Okay, and this is just a beautiful algae pond in Western Australia. And this is part of possibly my favorite thing about Australia, a natural feature. It's Karanjini National Park with a K, Karanjini National Park. And it's what it is 5 gorges, deep and some very narrow. At times you can touch the gorge on each side, and at times it's almost a mile wide. And these 5 gorges all connect and run together and converge, and you can go climbing all through them. And there's water down at the bottom of these gorges, and there's a lot of ponds and streams, and and this beautiful lake. Obviously, I didn't go in it. Didn't look like it was good for swimming. But yeah, just gorgeous. Karenjini National Park in Western Australia, and that is halfway up Western Australia. Actually, I have it in the book right here. This is one of the many guidebooks. Karenjini National Park is halfway up Western Australia, right there. So if you can see Australia, it's right where my finger is. And even better than, in my opinion, Kakadu National Park, which is up in Northern Territory. That was unbelievable as well. But I liked Karenjini more because it was more free. We could climb around the gorgeous. So this is off of Port Douglas. This is the marina area at Port Douglas, just entering the marina. Port Douglas is north of Cairns, or it's pronounced Cairns. It's spelled Cairns with an R, but everyone says Cairns. Cairns is north in the northeast of Australia. It's famous. A lot of famous people go there for vacations, and Port Douglas is even the richer, more exclusive town that's about 67 kilometers north. A beautiful highway drive north of Cairns, and it is the gateway. Cairns is the gateway to the Great Barrier Reef. It's absolutely fantastic. Hi, ever traveled through New Zealand? No, Suzanne, I have not traveled through New Zealand. I know Australia is just so different from Canada, where New Zealand, maybe a lot of the terrain is more similar. So while I was there, I did not. I spent all my time in Australia, just because Australia requires years and years. There's so much there to see, and I didn't get a chance to go over to New Zealand. Breaking news, I'm getting 2 more actors joining Commodore Productions, so watch for them. One new actor was in Happy St. Patrick's Day as Cisco. Excellent, Jim. Hey, that's fantastic. Fantastic. Hey, DJ Play Nice, good to see you. Excellent. Can't stay, but thanks for hosting. I'm enjoying watching these series. Keep up the good work. Hey, thanks for the encouragement. I really appreciate that. I love travel, and you know what? Even if I was just sitting here talking to Suzanne and Jim and Lemon Pie, if it was only the 3 of them, I'd still enjoy doing it. Love talking about Australia. So this is Bill Clinton played golf at the golf course in Port Douglas. Had a good friend who worked. He drove the golf course bar cart. Shout out to Morgan. He had a great time there. But lots of famous people go to Port Douglas. It is a beach resort in northeast Australia, and it is a nice, quiet little town, or used to be quiet. It's not so quiet anymore, but fantastic place. It's probably my favorite place in all of Australia is Port Douglas, and that's the marina going into it. Just absolutely real scenic. There's the park. That's a public park going into the marina. And here is another picture around the corner, me standing in that park that I just showed you. So here's in that park, looking out over one of the beaches. And this is in Port Douglas, Australia, northeastern Australia. It's in the state of Queensland. It's called FNQ, Far North Queensland is the area that the locals like to call it, the locals who live in Port Douglas just call it Port, but I spent many, many months there over the period of 20 years, 15 years anyway. Loved it. Love it there. It's gorgeous and really friendly. So that's a cuttlefish. That's a cuttlefish from the Sydney Aquarium. And you see these in the wild, but they're so quick, you never get a picture of them. But you do see them all over Australia, and apparently they're popular to eat. Though I don't think I have eaten one. This is Western Australia, and this is a Western Australian tourist attraction, quite famous. It's called the Pinnacles Desert, And obviously, because these are formations of sandstone where the desert has eroded down around them, clearly from people peeing on them, which I'm not really peeing, folks. But yeah, the weather has worn around the sand, and these pinnacles, for whatever reason, remained. Some people think that there may have been a hard spot or a rocks on top of them, and or just something about them that they haven't eroded. But this is the Pinnacles Desert, just north of Perth. It's about a 2.5 hour drive to the Pinnacles Desert, and it's quite big. You're looking at about maybe a fourth or a quarter of all of them there, and it goes quite far back. So it's quite a large area, and it's really cool to see. And it's just out in the middle of nowhere. And there were at the time no people there charging admission. There was no park rangers or attendants or anything like that. So, yeah. Okay, this is Karenjini National Park, again over in Western Australia. I have spent quite a bit of time in Western Australia. My little brother Patrick lives over there, so shout out to Pat and his family. So this is Karenjini National Park, about halfway up Western Australia. Exmouth is a town on the shore. This is inland, though. This is inland near Tom Price and a town called Newman. Tom Price is famous because it was closed down because it used to be an asbestos mine, and the whole town is pretty much condemned now. So that's in the same sort of area as Tom Price. But if you're talking about on the shoreline, Exmouth and Shark Bay are the same sort of latitude. And beautiful, gorgeous, if you're gonna go up to Shark Bay and Exmouth, you might as well go inland and go to Karenjini National Park with these gorgeous, beautiful gorges that all converge in one spot. This is actually the spot where they converge, or one of the big spots where they do converge. And that water is so refreshing. No crocodiles there, so because they would have had to survive massive waterfalls. Crocodiles don't do well in in waterfalls. New Zealand or Barbados or Trinidad. I have family all over. Ooh, I've never been to none of those places, Suzanne Eckstein, but they are all on the list. Daniel's Hot Topics. Hello. Did you see the Beetlejuice sequel trailer? It's awesome. I have not. I have not. I know that a lot of people are talking about it. I haven't seen it, but good. That's encouraging that it's awesome. I'm very encouraged by that. So yeah, this is Karenjini National Park, and just the gorges that ran through there were just amazing. Okay, this is another famous Australian spot this is actually north of Port Douglas, which I said was in far north Queensland. This is Cape Tribulation. This is one of the UNESCO it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is very unique, but because at Cape Tribulation, you can walk off the beach and walk and go out and go on the Great Barrier. You can walk off the beach at Cape Tribulation and go out onto the Great Barrier Reef. So this is, which is also in it of itself, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So the Great Barrier Reef and Cape Tribulation, the Daintree Rainforest, Cape Tribulation, where those two meet is, I think, the only spot in the world, or one of the only spots where two UNESCO World Heritage Sites meet. And it is just absolutely, as you can see, very dense rainforest. The clouds up in the corner there, beautiful rainforest. And here is the beach at Cape Tribulation at the Daintree Rainforest. Absolutely gorgeous beach, and with shade. There is actually shade to get out of that sun, which is when you're on the beach in Australia, shade is absolutely key, absolutely important. So where the rainforest spills out over onto the beach, it's just it's the best of both worlds, folks. And yeah, I did spend Christmas in Australia. So this is that would be in Perth, in a shopping mall. And yeah, the palm trees next to the Christmas trees. Maybe if you're Australian, that doesn't seem weird to you, but to us North Americans, that is kind of weird. Oh, Daniel, hello and happy birthday. Daniel's Hot Topics. Is it your birthday? Hey, happy birthday. And thank you, Suzanne, for pointing that out. Daniel's Hot Topic, if it is your birthday, indeed, happy birthday. Fantastic. Okay, so this is a popular Western Australian sort of hobby. If anyone can guess what I'm doing in the water up to my knees, and I was barefoot. Apparently, that is a really bad thing to do, really a no-no because of rockfish and poisonous spiny things. But I'm Canadian; I didn't know any better, and I did it many, many times, and I've never gotten in trouble by getting stung by anything. But I'm in an estuary off of Bunbury. Bunbury's a town. I think it's the second largest town in Western Australia, south of Perth, about 2 hours, and that's a beautiful region. I've spent a lot of time there. There's a floating bucket behind me that's sort of tied on to me, and I've got a scoop net, and I'm going after crabs. So the crabs are on the bottom of the estuary, and you can't see them because they're all camouflaged. But when you walk around, you get too close to them, they raise up their arms, and underside of their arms are all white, so then you can see them, which is kind of a stupid natural defense. And you put the net behind them, and they just back right up into your net, and then you put them in the floating bucket there. And you have a gauge, so they have to be, like at least, that big. And yeah, you can get up to 8, I think, a day, and it was free, no license required. Happy birthday. Good. It's so exciting. Today is Friday, March 22nd, 2024, and it is your 37th birthday. Fantastic. Oh, the 30s are good, man. 40s are even better. Have a great birthday. Happy birthday, Daniel. Fantastic. And thanks for being here. Yeah, hopefully this is somewhat interesting to you. So this is a famous shot. This is Sydney, folks, and but it's looking towards Sydney Harbor from Darlington Harbor, which is on the other side of a sort of a little peninsula. So that's Center Point Tower in Sydney, and you can go up Center Point Tower. It's kind of like Toronto's CN Tower or Seattle's tower. You can go up in it, and does it spin around like Calgary's tower? I think maybe it does. Center Point Tower. It's got a mall at the bottom of it, and if I recall that, there's a rotating tower, rotating restaurant in there. But don't hold me to that. But yeah, this is from Darlington Harbor, Darling Harbor, and the monorail, which you can ride, goes all the way over right to Circle Quay and right into the other part of Sydney. So Sydney was quite walkable. I didn't take the monorail. It was really walkable and really interesting. But if you did want to take the monorail, it doesn't go very far. It's just more of a tourist thing, but it is kind of fun, and it gives a pretty cool view, I would imagine. And okay, now this is back over to back up to the Great Barrier Reef. This is actually off of Cairns, about 2 hours by that live aboard on that boat for 4 days, and it's about a 2-hour speedboat drive out to get here. We're way out on the Great Barrier Reef at Cairns in far north Queensland, and this is just as the sun is going down, and it's so calm. You're way out in the middle of the ocean, but it's very peaceful. And I highly recommend, if you're going to get your diving license in Australia, which they have top qualifications, top quality instructors, I recommend doing a live aboard on the Great Barrier Reef. It's worth the price. As you can see, the color of water behind me, you can go out and do live aboards for up to as long as you wanted to, but a 4-day live aboard gives you your advanced open water diving. And here, flying from the west coast to the east coast, if you're lucky, in the Great Red Center, you will see the McConnell Ranges, and the McConnell Ranges, the MacDonald Ranges, and it's basically where these mountains have just pushed up in the center of Australia and have made a ridge that you can see from the plane flying over. So just there's don't think that all that there is to see is on the coasts of Australia. In the center of Australia, you get incredible landscapes as well, as you can see, and flying over them. It's about as expensive as it is to fly over across Canada. It isn't cheap, but it's pretty cool to see anyway. Very, very cool to see. The center of Australia is interesting. There you go. Oh, and here, back on the Great Barrier Reef, there is a shot down. We're in 40 meters of water. So that's about 120 some feet, 125 feet, 130 feet of water. And I know because that's we were on the bottom during these 4 days that we were out here. So yeah, 40 meters of water, and you can see right to the bottom. If I was on the bottom there, you'd see me from on top of the boat. Just beautiful. And there you go, another sunset on the Great Barrier Reef, and you can not much of the reef sticks up above the water, but you can see the effects. You can see where there is reef just below the water, and especially you can see where the wind and the currents flow around. Yeah, sunset on the Great Barrier Reef, folks. Absolutely, I'll never forget them. I've had a few, and I appreciate every one of them. Hello, Lisa. Hi. Welcome, Lisa. We're just saying happy birthday to Daniel's Hot Topics. And hello and welcome. And yeah, just saying that if you get a chance to go scuba diving on the Great Barrier Reef, I recommend a liveaboard. When I first did my dive, I did my original dive training in 2001, and I think it was $100 a day to go out on the boat and do a liveaboard, which in 2001 was, it was expensive. I actually was out there during 9/11. I've told this story before, but we didn't know 9/11 actually happened. We thought it was a hoax because we were out here. 2001, there wasn't, the communications you have now, and so we were totally cut off. We were doing our training and came back, and oh yeah, the World Trade Towers crashed. Yeah, sure they did. Until we saw the news. Okay, so there's being on the boat, looking down, and you can see all kinds. Wow, there's all kinds of fish in there because we just fed them scraps from supper, so they're going crazy there. I don't see any sharks there, but I do see. And see, this is handy. I highly recommend this. Highly recommend this. Fishes of the Great Barrier Reef. And if you go diving, any dive shop, any tourist shop will have these. Just make sure they're laminated, and you can identify all kinds of fish. And yeah, there's a lot on the Great Barrier Reef, folks. There's a lot. So yeah, I see batfish, the fatter, taller, I guess, fish would be the batfish. Yeah, there's yellow fins in there. Yeah, fantastic. But yeah, we feed them table scraps after supper, and so they come and we get to see really good shots of them. And there again, there's the smaller boat shuttling people to and from the liveaboard, and it stays out there for weeks at a time. And I think dive master training, which is the next level, I stay out there for 2 weeks and can do it then at several $1,000s. But yeah, and there's the reef. It's a few feet below the water, but you are out in the middle of the ocean, so make sure the boat doesn't leave without you. You are definitely out in the middle of the ocean, and it feels like it. Yeah, okay, longfin batfish I saw there. Yeah, okay, that would make sense. And some groupers, some skipjacks. Yeah. There were a lot. I've been diving at quite a few places. A few places around the world, not as many as I'd like to. And the variety in Australia, there's none bad. There's some that rival Australia, but out of the places I've been, like Thailand and Ningaloo Reef on the western coast of Australia, none of them are better than the Great Barrier Reef. I mean, I've never done diving anywhere that was better. Hey, West Kegel, welcome. We're just having a chat about Australia, and this is diving on the Great Barrier Reef. And this is what the Great Barrier Reef looks like. And it is absolutely, like, the colors, just fantastic colors to the reef. You know, if you get your open water through your PADI, your open water takes 3 days. You do a day in the classroom and testing and make sure you can swim in the pool, and then 3 days out on the boat. And if you want to do advanced, it's 4 days. Just fantastic. Your advanced open water is worth it. That means you get to go down deeper, double instead of 15 meters or 18 meters, you can go down to the bottom of the charts, 40 meters, and just fantastic. So there's some of the reefs that we went to. Moore Reef, Milne Reef, I can see. Thetford Reef and Briggs Reef, which Briggs Reef stands out because we were there for overnight. We did a few dives there, and it was just phenomenal. And the reef at night looks different than it does during the day. The different fish are out because some are nocturnal, and staying, Cairns Dive Center was the company that I did all my diving with, and they were very professional. And that is a very comfortable. There was, I think, 18 or 16 of us on that boat, including the staff. Super comfortable, really good food. I've never been so hungry in my life as when you're staying on a diving boat. You're doing 4 dives a day, 3 in the day and then 1 at night. And each dive is supposed to be less deep than the previous one. And hey, Carla Burton, welcome.
I'm driving. Hi. I just saw the thing. I'm like, oh, I need to come on.
It's good to see you. Yeah, it's been a while. We're talking.
I just had a jolly reminder.
We're just talking about the Great Barrier Reef, as a matter of fact. Ooh, that's really quite dark. Yeah, okay. Now this is Buffalo Beach over in Western Australia. A fantastic beach, but a lot of the beaches in Australia, you don't get the shade, so you do need to bring sail shades, beach umbrellas, right? And I know that's really important, is bringing umbrellas to the beach.
They can drive on that beach. That's good. What beach is that?
That is Buffalo Beach in Western Australia.
Oh, look at your awesome shirt and your hat. Oh,
you like
great.
these? I got this in 1986, Carla.
In 1987, was that like $100 or something?
In 1987,
was a lot of money, right?
It was $50. It was part of a World Boy Scout Jamboree. So
wow!
So it's real sheepskin. It says Mount Castle, 119 Melbourne Street, South Brisbane, Australia. We've got a phone number here, 844-3147.
That'd be probably accurate.
South Brisbane. So that would be in Queensland. And the area code for Queensland, going back 20 some years since I lived there, is 07.
Yeah.
Australia is 61 and Queensland is 07.
Yeah, well, you do 617. You do 617. Well done.
See? Yes, you drop the 0 when you're in country. That is from going back 20 years ago, man. Fantastic.
Good job.
Good.
Yeah, I'm just being busy. That's all. So it's really nice, and I can just jump onto a stream once in a while. My goodness.
Have you been to Australia many times?
Yes, I go there quite a few times a year, actually. My husband basically flies here. And he's always wanting me to come along, but I'm like, I'm too busy. But three or four
eels.
times a year,
Hmm.
maybe more, he convinces me
Wow.
I should. I
Well, you're
probably
the right
yeah.
person to have on.
Well, we go to like Melbourne, Brisbane, and Sydney a lot.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
Brisbane.
but
Brisbane and Perth would be my favorite two
oh,
larger cities.
yeah,
There
I have
were
been to
eels.
Perth.
Yes.
I have been to Perth, but yeah.
I think, yeah,
It is.
I maybe Perth over Brisbane even, just because of Queen's
Oh,
or King's
wash your
Park.
mouth out.
I know. I love Brisbane. I've got a lot of good friends in Brisbane.
And
All
it's way
right.
more touristy than Perth, right? I suppose that's because they've got all the
Brisbane
theme parks
is
there.
more,
There's all
and
the
you
theme
get
parks.
more. You get bikinis walking around downtown Perth. You get
Yeah,
friggin' bikinis. You
yeah.
don't get that in Brisbane because it's not right
I think
on
you
the
probably
coast.
do now. You probably
Maybe you
in
do.
South. What do you call it? In Oh my gosh, you should see the togs they wear at the water parks. But
Togs. I'm gonna
like,
have
cause
to translate. She means bathing
oh
suit
yeah,
for
bathing suits. I don't know.
bikini. Oh yeah, togs.
Yeah.
Do you know?
What do
Can
they
you see
call
the
them? They
screen?
call them togs.
Did
Sorry.
I've only heard them call that in Australia togs.
Oh yeah, we
Can you
call
see
them
the screen?
togs here
And
too.
no, you can't. So this is Ray Lucard says that spider is the size of a cat. Yes, it is. It is one of the largest spiders I've ever seen in my life. This was
What's it
staying
called?
This was at Dougie's Backpackers. This is a golden orb. A golden orb spider. It is not
Yeah.
harmful, apparently. It is not dangerous, but it is big. And it was there. It stayed at the hostel I was there for a couple of months, and it was there when I came back the next year, in the same spot. It lived there for years at Dougie's hostel. Yeah, it was fantastic. Holy crap! Look at this, folks. This Port
Oh
Douglas.
wow! Look at that.
Port
Good
Douglas.
job.
And this is a Peter Lick book. I don't know if Peter Lick is famous in New Zealand, but he's certainly famous and this is just like.
Now we had a guy called Craig Potton. Craig Potton, was Potton, and he used to do all the New Zealand ones just like that.
And if you go to Port Douglas, that is where you want to stay. If you go to Port Douglas, Dougie's Backpackers.
Yeah.
Yep. They're
Would you still stay there now? Would you stay there now after all these years? Like when you're in your 50s or not?
Oh my God, yes. I stay there I only stay in hostels. Absolutely. I love
hostels.
All
right. Well, I have a big family, so we have to stay in the places that sleep 8.
No, I will
cook me breakfast.
Stay in a hostel every time. Every time. I love meeting travelers. You meet other people, and you can. It's just a lot of. They're very communal, and I just love them. And no, even when I'm 75, I'll be staying in hostels. Absolutely.
Good job.
No, I love them. I love the atmosphere. You can talk to people about things in that are tourist sites in that area, because someone in the hostel has probably just come from there, and you can get hands-on information about it. Whatever town you're in, whatever sites are part of that town, you go to a hostel and they will tell you, yeah, I just came from there and here's what it's like and here's what not to do. And yeah, fantastic. Hey, William Shakespeare, good to see you. Hey, hello. Fantastic. Just do you mind reading what he says? Ooh. Oh, but if you can't see it, that's all right. He says, "Hail, chat. Just got off a long call. And I see you're all here looking at gigantic spiders." Yeah, this is a golden orb spider. Golden orb. The spider ran the hostel. Yeah, that's Dougie's Backpackers Hostel. The owner's name is also Steve, so shout out to Steve. Really good guy, man. He's a good friend. He's a really genuinely good guy. It is not poisonous, William Shakespeare. It is not poisonous. It is a golden orb spider. And yeah, it's no longer at Dougie's Backpackers, but it was there for a long time. And
I wonder what the lifespan has been there. A spider.
That's a video. that we're gonna watch. The Golden Orb was several years. This is a shitty picture of the reef that I took from the airplane, the 747 flying back to Canada.
wow.
Yeah, that's the best I could do.
Mm,
Yeah, 747 wide body.
nice.
There's a better one. There's a better one. Yeah, that's from the
Wow, that's
plane.
amazing.
From the
That's why
plane.
Australia is just so amazing.
Yeah,
The water.
it really was. Yeah, worth one of the greatest adventures I've ever done in my life.
Mm. You didn't get
Okay,
to New Zealand.
not yet, not yet.
Yeah,
But
okay.
learning to dive on the Great
Good
Barrier is
qualification.
pretty up there. Yeah. So this is Karenjini National
Oh,
Park again, and this is part of
amazing.
Hammersley Gorge. There's a bunch of gorges that run in there, and Karenjini is like I said, one of my favorite attractions in all of Australia. It's halfway up Western Australia. It's inland from the coast near a town called Tom Price, famously shut down for asbestos contamination because of the mine. But this place is a good distance from there, and just beautiful, gorgeous, and see, it was hot as hell up in Western Australia, and that water is cool and clean, and unless a crocodile did a belly flop off of that waterfall, it's safe. So, I mean, we did see a snake. There was snakes, and snakes can swim, okay, but other than snakes, it was safe. And we didn't get hurt. So, hello to everybody. Yeah, so Karenjini National Park in Western Australia, absolutely gorgeous. Oh, can you identify this bird? Little bit of yellow on the back of the head, all white, big black beak. I don't mean the bird in the background there. I don't know who she is, but in the foreground, the birds. Oh, we lost her. She'll be back. Those are cockatoos. And yeah, they're always in the way. They're making noise. Not as bad as the flaming galas though. But cockatoos, they definitely make noise. And this is, speaking of Cairns in far north Queensland, your gateway to the Great Barrier Reef. This is downtown Cairns. Corner of Spence and Shields. That's an iconic old classic backpacker hostel called Shenanigans. I don't think there was a lot of shenanigans went on there. I don't think they're operating as a backpacker place anymore, but that's an iconic intersection. And that backpackers Shenanigans, if you're still operating Shenanigans, damn, there's a lot of shenanigans that happen there. I love that place. You recognize that intersection, Carla?
Sorry?
Yeah, do you recognize the intersection of Spence and Shields streets in Cairns?
Oh no, I've never been to Cairns.
It's pretty crazy. Lots of Asians there now, but buying all kinds of property. So apparently you can get good Asian.
Well, it's close. All the Perth
Cairns.
and Cairns also. You know, Perth, it's close to Malaysia and all those sort of countries. And I'm imagining like Cairns is closer to China and stuff like that. So it's no wonder they buy properties there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not surprised either. Same as why they it makes sense. Europeans would buy in Eastern Canada.
New York. Well, they buy in the eastern side of America, right? Because they're close to there. So that's the same principle as Cairns and Perth.
They put a lot of work into their public spaces. You can see this is one of the parks in downtown, prime real estate, but downtown Cairns, quite tropical. And there is from going out to the Great Barrier Reef, leaving Cairns. So you're sort of heading east directly out to the Great Barrier Reef, and there is Cairns with the mountains in behind.
Well, you make it sound like a European place. We call it Cairns, like Sears.
Yeah,
you say Cairns.
Cairns. I know it is Cairns. It is Cans,
You make it
Cans,
sound like the Monte Carlo.
and the you're right. The Cannes Film Festival. You're probably right.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I'm thinking of.
It's
But
cans.
funnily, neither one of us are pronouncing it the way that it's actually spelled.
Oh no, I know.
So how funny is that?
I know it's hilarious.
And William Shakespeare says cockatoos were famous in the American TV show
Oh,
Baretta, which is a police
oh.
detective show. I know the name Baretta. I haven't watched the show. I do like the gun though. Very nice pistol.
Mm.
And there is overlooking the lookout, looking out onto 4 Mile Beach in Port Douglas. So if you go north of Cairns,
Mm.
67 kilometers, it's a beautiful drive. And actually, you can see the highway. You're looking south to Cairns now, so you can actually,
Oh, yep.
if the trees weren't there, you could see the road snaking up through
Yep.
to Port Douglas. And that is 4 Mile Beach. It is actually not a full 4 miles long, but nonetheless,
Nah,
that is the name.
they never are they? The liars.
Yeah, this sand was quite hard, hard to make sand castles because it's quite hard packed as opposed to some Caribbean
Oh
or Thai
wow, that's
sand.
interesting. You think
Yeah,
hard pack would be okay to make them?
well, it's really hard on your hands and fingers. Like you get a workout on if you're building sandcastle for 8 hours, you can't do much with your hands after that. Let me tell you. But this is from the
Yeah,
lookout.
true.
It is free to climb up. You can climb. You can be on that beach in about 10 minutes if you were walking fast. There's a staircase that goes right up the side of the hillside, and
Oh, I hate beaches. You have to do that.
beautiful, but fantastic beach, 4 Mile Beach. And with the Mossman Gorge is not too far from there. The Daintree Rainforest is not too far. It's just gorgeous. Northeastern Australia is probably my favorite part. Northeastern Australia.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Or my brother lives in the Southwest, so and that's it's a torn. I'm torn between them. South of Perth, like Bunbury or Margaret River, where the wine is. We were the Scotsman. Okay, so the Scotsman and I went to Margaret River looking for work at a winery. We arrived 2 weeks too early for any of the work to be done, so we were staying in a caravan, an RV park. And so we and the checkout time was 10 a.m. and we got drinking at nights. And by the time checkout came in the morning, we were looking at like, there's no way we're legal to drive. Like we can't leave. So we'd pay for another night. We stayed there for a week and a half. It was fantastic. We just went to the beach every day. Yeah. Margaret River.
Yeah.
So here's Port Douglas again, in far north Queensland. I highly recommend, Cairns is right there. And then just north, Port Douglas is absolutely gorgeous, folks. There's the marina coming in. Hey, Opus! Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Well, I mean, other than just on the Doomcock chat, but yeah, good to see you. I always find you streaming when I'm nodding off to sleep. Sorry, Opus. Yeah, Pacific time, Vancouver time. And Carla's up because she's on the other side of the world.
Yep, 7:30 in the evening.
So this is southwestern Australia. So here's northeast, and here's southwest. So diagonally opposite ends of the country, and the water does look quite different. This is an area south of Albany, south of Busselton, an area called Denmark, and I guess it's on the very south. It actually faces south, like it is on the south coast of Australia. Oh shit! I'll show you. And in there was all kinds of things to explore, like little sea creatures that were left in the tide pools. So
yeah, nice.
Now we're talking here. If you're looking at Australia, now we're talking here. So quite far south. And
circumnavigating Australia.
I'm doing best of, so they're not in any order.
Oh yeah. No, I meant the way you're going around.
yeah, that's right. So yeah, the wave action here was crazy, and it wasn't like I had a hoodie on for when it got windy, but the water was still. I mean, my brother's kids were in the water. Well, kids.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
But yeah, the
kids don't feel
waves,
it, eh?
man. Yeah, we didn't lose a single one,
Yeah.
surprisingly. Not a
That's
while. Oh,
good.
it
That's a good. That's a
happens.
good day. That's a good day,
It
right?
had people get swept off the rocks in Nova Scotia
Oh yeah,
and
I know.
Western Australia
We
and
have the
New
same
Zealand.
here.
Hmm.
Mm.
Do you know where this is? Also, one of my
No,
favorite spots in Western Australia.
no. Where is it?
This is south of Margaret River, in sort of the area that I was just pointing to on the
Okay.
map. Again, near
Yeah, yeah,
Denmark and
yeah,
Albany. Yeah, it's
yeah.
Walpole National Park, and it's got this tree walk that you can
Valley
do.
of the Giants treetop
Yeah,
walk, or is it
and
different?
there's my dad. Hey, Dad. Oh, I miss you, Dad.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, what did you just say? Yes.
Valley is it Valley of the Giants treetop walk?
Yeah, that's it. You've heard of it.
Mm. How old is it? How old are those
Oh,
trees, you reckon?
oh, I was gonna say
It
my
must have
dad's
told
like
you.
70. Dad just turned turned 70, 76. It's at least I went there 15 years apart, so it's at least it's going back to it. It's older than that. I think it was there when I was there in 2001. Yep, it was there when I
Yeah,
was there in
but
2001.
they must be over like 100 years or so, sure.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant the
If that
structures.
no, that how old the trees are.
The
They're
trees.
so big.
Probably older than Dad. Yeah, I would say.
Mm.
Yeah, they're. I mean, you're looking. That's 40 meters. That's what 130 feet up. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that's big, folks, and it's quite. It's about a kilometer walk all along.
Oh
But
yeah. Dang,
it was
that's a big.
sturdy.
That's a lot of bridge.
It
Yeah.
was maybe 600 meters, but the better
Mm.
part of a kilometer, half a mile, let's
Mm.
say, for our American
Mm.
friends. But my parents were able to both do it, and they
That's
weren't
cool.
intimidated, and they're not exactly acrobats. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you know, they. Ooh, do you recognize this animal?
I
Anybody? It
can't
is a
see
bird.
him.
It is a
Is he an
bird.
owl? Is he an
Yeah,
owl?
it is an owl. Yes, it is.
Whoa.
I knew you were the right person to have on. I've invited Tyron Lethbridge, Tyron
Oh
B,
yeah.
but I know he was
He's
working
probably
earlier,
working.
so maybe he didn't get a chance. That
Mm.
is an owl.
That's a
It is
shame.
a
Yeah.
frogmouth owl.
Oh
Hello to
gosh, the
you,
poor
Moira
fella.
Kitty. Hello, Moira, and hello,
Hey
Mr.
Moira.
Angel. Hello and welcome.
Hello.
So if you can see, and I wonder if I can put my cursor on it. I probably can't. Will it? Can you see my cursor?
I see the cursor. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if I go over here, and I lose it. Okay. The mouth is right under the cursor. See the beak, the sharp pointy
Yeah.
beak is right.
Yeah.
I was almost there. So there's the beak, folks, and it is hard. It is kind of hard to see this guy, but so his eye is
Yeah.
right below my cursor, the black eye,
Yeah.
and then the
Yeah.
beak is right there. And so and his mouth opens the entire width of his head, folks. The
Oh
frog
no
mouth
way.
owl. The frog mouth owl.
Wow.
Yeah, just incredible. Yeah, incredible. Just really, I really enjoyed. Yeah, and this is so. So I was in the Walpole National Park. You drive in the park, and so along the way in the car, you can see these birds on the fence post railings. So yeah, this is again
So
Walpole National Park, which is in southwestern Australia.
yeah. Interesting.
Apparently
We've
not
just
dangerous.
been the worst thing that we know about birds. I think
Oops,
that might be larks or something like that. And
that's.
oh sorry,
So this is the
it's upside down.
Peaceful Bay Seafood Cafe, and it explains all the different fish of the west
Uh-huh.
coast of Australia. It is upside down, and I swear that I changed this. And I don't know why it's upside down because I saw this, I
Yeah.
caught it before the show, but this is all the different
Yeah.
fish of the Pacific coast, which is really helpful for a seafood cafe to have there.
Yes.
And this is again
true.
just more of Western Australia. This is actually a buddy's property
Yeah.
in Western Australia.
Eucalyptus trees. Eucalyptus trees.
Yeah,
Eucalyptus
absolutely.
Trees. Apparently, there's over 1,000 species of eucalyptus tree.
There's over 1,000 species of eucalyptus tree.
Yeah, apparently.
Me too, Miss Kathonic. Wow.
Crazy.
Well, I know that the oils
Well,
are
that's what
really
a
helpful.
taxi someone told me. I'm like, everything's a eucalyptus tree in Australia, and they're like, there's over 1,000 species. Oh.
I love doing food pictures when I go around and love showing people the culture, and because as a cultural anthropologist student, I'm supposed to be showing culture. Food is a big part of the culture. So this is pub food, folks, and you can go to most pubs and get a flight of beers. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 half pints. I was not driving. And with the different foods along, and this was all appetizers, and my brother and I ordered 2 of those, I think, and then his wife had to drive. That's fine. I love the pub food, and you know what that is?
He looks like a redback spider or something.
Bingo.
Yeah,
a redback spider. It'll kill a small child. An adult-sized human, normally it'll just make you sick. But yeah, so I mean, something to be. I wouldn't want to get bit by one. That's for sure.
Well, you see in Australia, they all have screen doors, screen windows. Everything's got screens on them in that country.
Yep. They shake their boots out.
Yeah.
It's Australians that come and live here. It's funny. Or you'll just go and you'll stick your hand in a wood pile and they'll start freaking out like, it's okay. You can do that here.
You can't do that here either. We have wetters. We have wetters and stuff like that.
It gets cold enough here that those animals can't survive for too long. I mean, we do have apparently the black widow and tarantula, and rattlesnake in Alberta, but they're not really poisonous compared to Australian creatures. Oh, there's more pub food, folks. So Australia, I do love the pub food. Australians know how to do pub food. I will say that. Ooh, okay. That again, that would be Western Australia. That would be that looks like again off Buffalo Beach in Western Australia. I've been there enough times. I should recognize it. It is near Bunbury. It is near Bunbury, and that is yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Bunbury is about a 2-hour drive south of Perth. Although they've expanded the highway with more lanes, and it's even faster to get down there now. So Perth to Bunbury might just be like an hour and a half. Because there was a couple of bottlenecks, and I know that they've improved them. So yeah, about an hour and a half south of Perth. Gorgeous. And I think it's the second largest, or it was the second largest city in Western Australia. Absolutely.
Look at that water! Place. Look at that water! So clear.
That's what you're looking at, folks. I've asked my brother to get me down there to live, and he just keeps finding reasons to not bring me down there. What is that, Mr. Angel? What are those?
I don't know.
Are those shoes? I can't see.
I've got my iPad going at the same time.
Those look like tampons?
No, they look like
tampon emoji.
Scripts. They look like rolled up papers. With
slapping sounds. Oh, with newspapers. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say, I want to have a big, like a Lizzo-sized tampon. Okay, newspaper to snap the spiders. Okay, I get it. Thank you, Ms. Katana. And that's how he became Canadian Spider-Man. Yes, by playing with the spiders. Yeah. I do have a spiders. I do have a spider story. It's quick though. Well, it's sort of quick. But do you know what a donger is? Donger, a workman's cabin.
No, I don't.
No, a donger is in Western Australia anyway. It's not obscene. It's I guess because there's lots of penises in a men's work camp cabin. I guess that's why they called it a donger, and it just occurred to
It
me.
could be.
But anyway, I stayed in a donger at this farm. It was just me. I had the whole place to myself. I was and we'd drink at the farmhouse, and then I'd stumble home to the cabin. And I remember coming home, and it was dark, and I'd pull open the screen door, and I walked in, and I was met with and no lights on anywhere, and just a web. And I walked through it in my t-shirt and shorts, and I went right to the light and right to there was a mirror in there, and I went right to the big mirror, and I started looking for spiders all around me, and sobered up real friggin' quick, I'll tell you that. but yeah, there were no spiders. Thank God. There were lots of webs. I don't know what happened to the spider. I don't know where it went to, but scared. But I was never intimidated by spiders until that's the only incident ever that my entire time in Australia that I've ever been intimidated by spiders. And it was that walking through in the middle of the night. And when I left in the morning, it wasn't like that. And then I don't know who or what that built the web. Dad Man Walking. Hey, welcome to you, sir. We're just looking at Western Australian beaches that we wish we were there. How long would it take you to get there, Carla? About 10 hours from New Zealand to Perth?
Western Australia is an 8-hour flight.
Yeah, okay. And then 2 hours down to Bunbury. So there you go. You could be on that beach in 10 hours. Tell my brother I said hi.
I got a beach literally less than 5-minute drive from me.
Look at that.
You've seen where I live. I live right by the beach.
Yeah, but I didn't know it looked like that.
Oh, on a nice day.
Ooh.
Anything does.
Shovelhead shark, isn't it?
What?
Isn't it?
Dang. I never. Oh, it's a baby.
Yep, we released it.
A juvenile.
Unharmed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we used to do that with hammerhead sharks and the Firth of Thames. Had to let all those hammerheads go.
Oh, we're still up, Dad Man. Well, it's only 11:30 here in BC.
It's only
7:30
here.
7:30 p.m.
Yeah, I still have to go out shopping after this.
Wow, so you're only 3 hours. You're almost 24 hours ahead of me.
Here.
Literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that close to 24
Go to
hours.
bed. Go to bed, Dad Man. Lisa has spoken.
Opening my sleeping bag
thanks,
and having
Daniel.
2 scorpions wave at me to come in was fun. If you have a story about that, Mr. Angel, come on up and tell us about that. But I think he's being sarcastic. Thanks for being here, Lisa. Fantastic. So yeah, that's a shovelhead shark. They don't get that big. I have another one that I've taken 10 years earlier up in Darwin, and it's not that much bigger than that. Ooh, that's a puffer fish.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we put that back. Sometimes, Carla, you gotta cut the line, eh? Sometimes if you don't want to touch the fish, you
you don't want to touch it.
No, and but the hooks dissolve in I know this in Western Australia. What we were fishing with, we had to use special hooks that had to dissolve in a certain amount of days in the salt water.
I did not know that.
The fish.
I did not know that.
And they look just like other hooks, but in salt water they dissolve in 5 days so that the fish can live.
Clever.
Yeah, very clever. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why you don't use. I think it's a clever plan to sell new hooks, because any of your old hooks.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic, Mr. Angel. Good to have you here. Breakfast. Ooh, well, here, fish for breakfast. Not just. I don't. Well, the Japanese would probably. Yes, the Japanese would probably charge you a ton to eat that. Okay. This is Australia, right?
Oh.
Now this is in a pizza. This is just done in a pizza oven. My shout out to Harry in Western Australia. This was in Bunbury at the time, and this is kangaroo tail stew done in the pizza oven, and I got to tell you, that was some of the best stew with thyme and carrots. And he made a red wine sauce. And you know what he mixed in with the red wine, Carla?
What did he mix in? Do I want to know? Oh, Vegemite.
Mixed in Vegemite.
You don't need to show
Vegemite,
me the label. As soon as I see the yellow thing, I'm like, I know what it
you'll
is.
know immediately what it is. Yeah. Vegemite and red wine is a good
Gross.
sauce. Is a good sauce for
Vegemite.
a dark meat. And it's a very dark meat. It's a very red, rich meat. I keep it up on my shelf. I don't have many uses for the Vegemite.
Nah,
Not really.
you can probably just like, I don't know, put on war paint. It'll be good for war paint. That's about all Vegemite would be for.
So, here's the meat. There is the meat. That is the kangaroo tail meat that my buddy cooked, and it's the color of chocolate. And oh my god, it just melted. Melted. Like that.
Does
That
it
stew
taste? Will
looks
it taste
so
like
good.
beef or lamb? Can you describe
A
what it'd be
really,
closest to?
really venison, like a
Okay.
gamey,
Okay.
but not
Yep.
a bad gamey,
Yeah.
like a wild venison. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Lisa, trust me. Trust me. When my buddy cooks you a kangaroo tail in a pizza oven with red wines,
Kangaroos are not nice. They're just pretty
they're
unpleasant
not
creatures.
friendly, but they're very healthy because they've not been injected with any steroids. Very
No,
good
no
for
one
you.
can catch them.
Very heart healthy. And here's some more pub
Yeah.
food with the look at the size of those shrimps on the shish
Oh,
kebab
look at
there.
that awesome chip punnet.
And in the basket, I think those
Wow, those are big.
were
Yeah.
deep fried jalapeno poppers. Those are deep fried jalapeno poppers and mussels. Oh, and calamari rings and
my
the
husband
shrimp
would love
and the
them.
chips with the real newspaper. Yeah, so that's what you can expect in Western Australia fish and chip pubs. This was a pub.
Yeah, but like, are they expensive? Because I know in Sydney and those places, if you
It
get
is
a
really
beer
good
at a
for
pub,
students.
it's a lot of money. It's like almost $30
Oh my
or
god,
something like that.
I
So much
know.
money.
I bought 2 pints at this pub for my brother and I. I took over a $20 Australian, and
Yeah.
I did, and it wasn't enough. I thought I'd get keep the tip. I thought I'd be generous. Oh, keep the tip. No,
Yeah.
I had to cough up another 5 or something.
Yeah.
So
That
these
was a
are
long time ago.
so Little Creatures is one of my favorite Western Australian beer. Little Creatures. It is a specialty
Interesting.
beer, and it is delicious. And is one of these little creatures? No, Colonial Drought, Kawarump. That's a city or town. Yeah. And they keep their beer cold. I'll tell you that.
Kawarump.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. My pronunciation is.
Billabong Brewing.
I've only lived there for a couple of years.
Colonial
Total
Drought.
time spent in Australia is probably only less than 3 years. So, and that is, some different. Like they've really gone really well with the craft ciders.
It's like Andy's oatmeal stout.
Was it? Well, oh yeah, they've really gone well with the craft beers. Yeah, Andy's oatmeal stout. I'm not thinking they chose poorly on that name.
And Moody Cow White Cloud Summer Wheat.
Thank God I'm having breakfast, or I'll be running to the kitchen. Oh yeah, with all that seafood platter. With all the seafood platter. Now that's a meal. Exactly, Miss Katonic. The seafood platter, yes. Yeah, I was thinking first trick is having kangaroo stew is to defeat a kangaroo. One on combat is only fair. That's right.
Exactly.
That's yes. Okay. So yes, there's the kangaroo before. And there's the kangaroo after. Kangaroo after. Kangaroo stew, kangaroo tail. Yes, that's the seafood at the pub. And then there's
same with koalas. You think they're cute? They're quite not nice actually.
This was in Bunbury. Bunbury is overrun with the red kangaroo, which is the largest of the kangaroos, and it is a powerful. It stands 7 feet tall. I'm not gonna mess with it.
No.
Okay, there I am holding
what you got
two.
There?
Well, you tell me.
Lobsters.
Close. They're freshwater. The Australian freshwater version.
Crayfish?
They call them marin. They call
Do
them
they?
marin.
I've never heard of that.
Maron. Marin.
Oh,
Maybe it's only a Western Australian. Again, yeah, you know
Oh,
what?
I don't know enough.
You're right, because it was Moreton Bay bugs in Brisbane, in Moreton Bay, which is off of Brisbane. You're right. So it's a Western Australian term, marin.
Mm.
Yeah, marin. So they are like lobster. However, Canadian lobster have the big claws that are so delicious, and the marin don't have the large claws. But you'll find them in cow ponds on fresh water all across Western
Okay.
Australia, in
Yeah.
streams, anywhere. They just find their way to bodies of fresh water, and they are delicious. And yeah, I if you know Australia's original Big Brother with Sarah Marie, I went
Hmm.
checking marin traps in a cow pond with Sarah
Oh,
Marie
wow.
Fideli. Yeah, the
That's
one
very
with the bunny
cool.
ears and did the bum dance. Yeah, that was we spent Christmas. I have we have mutual friends. Spent Christmas with them.
You were torturing Mr. Angel.
You beat the kangaroo but have no teeth left. That's true. Yeah. Oh, love the marin. Those were delicious. Scrambled eggs with smoked salmon, sour cream, toast, orange juice, Indian chai, fruit salad with bulgur yogurt as breakfast. But seeing that picture, I think I'll go make some more. Mr. Angel, wow, you have a huge appetite, but that food was pretty delicious looking. And it was, I'm telling you, it was good because I ate it. And again, here's just the countryside. This is my buddy's
Mhm.
property in Western Australia. And the
3G
sky
one
looked like,
bar, like I call
sorry?
it. 3G one bar. That's what I call
Yeah,
it because I don't get any reception anywhere or no service. My favorite.
just the countryside in Western Australia, man, is just beautiful. Absolutely
Hmm.
gorgeous. Some of it is reminiscent of Canada, but just unique and beautiful. And you recognize these trees? I took a close up of their trunks.
Are they eucalyptus?
They
Is that what it
are
is?
gum tree, yeah, eucalyptus gum
A
tree.
gum tree. Yeah.
Yep,
I told
I
you there's
love gum
tons of.
trees. We
Oh,
don't
look
have
what
gums in Canada that I know of.
Oh,
I'm
because
just
that's how they
fascinated
have
by it.
forest. You know, they're forest fires, right? Because their trees are just made of oil or
And
gum, right?
resin, right? Of course, and they
Yeah.
burn really.
No,
Yep.
no, they explode before they're even the fire gets to them because
Oh,
the heat from the fire that's coming makes the trees
wow,
ahead of them just explode. That's why you have
wow.
things like yeah. And also they have did I talk to you about this about their kites? They've got something like a black kite or a red kite, and it's a bird
Hmm.
that
Yeah, yep. Yeah, I
have
knew
you
it
heard of
wasn't a
this?
racial slur. I know what a kite
No.
is.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, and he picks a bushfire that this is why this country has no hope with their bushfires because this
Uh-oh.
bird will pick up an ember from the fire that's gone, fly to where the fire isn't yet, and drop the ember in the the brush of
Right.
an unburnt forest, so all
You
the
did
insects
say that.
fly up and they can eat the insects. So he
You did.
starts a new fire.
You did. Yes, that's right.
What hope is there? What
You
hope?
told me that. No, that's crazy fighting fires. And here is
Yep,
the full Australian flag. For those of you who might not know,
it's exactly like the New Zealand one, except it has that big star below the Union Jack.
right.
Oh, and
Correct.
that star, that bottom star, has got seven spikes on it. That big one, I think, representing the seven states of Australia. But you can't see it on your picture.
Oh, I can't.
That's the Southern Cross. That's the Southern Cross. So we see that star.
Oh,
Um,
you talk about this
yeah,
star.
Yeah, that big star there, that represents. So basically, that's the New Zealand flag. I mean, it's probably a bit different, but but they have that big star underneath the Union Jack that
Yes.
represents then seven states or however many states they have.
Yes.
Okay, so there are more than 700 species of eucalyptus.
Holy shit. That
Yeah,
yeah, I didn't know that about the flag, so I'm glad you're here again because I'm not
yeah,
that
go.
familiar with the flag. And yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Mr. Angel says Southern Cross. Yes. The
that's
Northern
right.
Star of the South. Yes, exactly. You can find the Southern Star by finding the perpendicular bisector of the Southern Cross, and it goes like the
We call
long
them
the,
pointer stars. We call
right
them
the
pointer
long
stars.
axis of the Southern Cross, the perpendicular bisector of that. You follow that straight up, and you'll the pointer stars, yeah, and you'll hit the Southern Cross, and you cannot see that in the northern atmosphere.
No.
Nor can you see the Big Dipper anywhere in Australia that I could see. Hey, no, we love astronomy here, Mr. Angel. Absolutely. So this beach
Yep.
is a Western Australian beach, and this
Yep.
is up further north. So I was showing you beaches in southwestern Australia. So this is
Yep.
sort of more towards Perth. Actually, this is Perth City Beach, somewhat up from Cottesloe Beach. There's a lot of beaches because Perth is right on the ocean, and they have a whole bunch of beaches running up and down. But City Beach is a nice one, and Cottesloe Beach is another. And this is what they look like. And that red and yellow flag on the side, that means that there are lifeguards there, and that's the zone. You stay around those flags, and that's where
You have
you'll
to
find
swim
lifeguards.
between the flags. You mean to swim
Swim between the
so
flags, right? Well, my
wherever
picture
the
only
other
shows
flags.
one, so it was
Yeah.
yes, but swim between the flags. Yes, there's usually more than one, folks, because otherwise it would confuse Tasmanian people. I think the Tasmanians are like the Newfies are to Canada. And I spent time in Tasmania. I have some good friends in Tasmania. Hopefully I
Nice.
remember to include them in this presentation. But like I said in the title, Australia requires a couple of shows at least.
Mm.
This is
You have
downtown
to
Perth, folks.
try and coordinate with Tyron another time too.
I was trying to, and I am still trying to for the second one. That is in the works. Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
That is in the works.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I tried to make
And
it
I'll
happen for
come and
tonight.
tell him, oh,
but
you
we'll
Aussie.
do it next week. Those flags don't mean Spanish conquistadors? I don't know. The Spanish were down. I mean, Tasmania does have some sites named after Dutch. Abel Tasman. What nationality was Abel Tasman?
New Zealand. He's Dutch.
He's Dutch, yeah. So
Abel
the Spanish,
Janszoon.
the Dutch,
yeah,
they were all there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't like mixing national politics with astronomy. I enjoy both subjects, and I don't mind mixing them. Okay, so hopping over, this is Perth City Beach, Perth downtown, and there's Perth again from the park. Perth has a beautiful park that sits above it on a bank, on a ridge, on a plateau looking above Perth. It's called Kings Park, and it's massive and it's gorgeous. And this is yet another park near the Swan Bells. There's just parks all over Perth. There you go. Okay, this is from that park that I was just talking about, Kings Park, on the hillside, looking across to downtown Perth. It is a walk. It's a 40-minute walk, but I had no problem doing it. Yeah, I enjoyed walking. Sorry?
That's a good bit of exercise.
Yeah, and the Perth has something called city cats. The red line and the blue line, if I recall, the blue line runs east-west and the red line runs south-north, and they're free.
Are they catamarans?
You'd think so. No, Brisbane has city cats as well. But no, this was, I don't know whether it was just me that called them cats because their image, their symbol was a cat, a blue cat and a red cat.
Yeah.
And there were free bus lines that would run just simple line, like one line east-west and one line north-south. Very simple, but it was free for tourists. I think because city cats do exist in Brisbane. I think in Perth, it was also referred to as the city cat. But anyway, the image was a cat, a blue cat and a red cat. But free buses on a simple route and really easy to get around. And
it wasn't like a greyhound?
You know what?
It
could have been a greyhound. Damn it! It could have been.
Because you
Now I'm
did drink a lot
questioning.
on this holiday.
Oh my God! It's Australia. You're damn right. We drank a lot. Oh my goodness, drank everywhere. But the first time I went there, 2001, it was $6 for a jug of beer. Now
Yeah.
the jugs were smaller than Canadian jugs by probably you only get 3 glasses out of them. But for $6 Australian, which was 5 Canadian, I'll take it at a backpacker joint. They probably didn't clean their lines in a month. But so if you go to City Park, this is in Perth. One of the greatest attractions in Perth is the King's Park, and this is the monument to the soldiers in King's Park. That's one of the big highlights there. But I did enjoy Perth and the park. But I tried to get out of the cities as much as possible. And okay, so if you go north of Perth along the coast, the northern beaches they're called, and you can do just walk along the coast forever. It's
Beach
absolutely
road.
Beautiful. Yeah. It's a little confusing. How many of those are there?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Every mile is a beach road, and here it is, City Beach. Yeah, the northern beaches in not that's northern speaking, but of Perth. But Perth itself is in the southern. It's about 2/3 of the way down the west coast of Australia. Oh yeah, here's in Bunbury. There's the field. I told you there was wild red kangaroos. Those are the bigger ones. Yeah, wild kangaroos, folks, just in fields there. Down this is actually near the coast.
That'd be scary. Actually, that'd be scary.
I was in a vehicle, but even so, yeah. This is just down by the estuary, actually, in Bunbury. Yeah. Oh, there's I told you I had a friend who was feeding the great white sharks in the Sydney Aquarium. Shout out to Chloe. She used to work at the Sydney Aquarium feeding the great white sharks. Wow. I imagine she fed the other animals too, but you'd feed the great white sharks first. You'd feed those ones first. Exactly. Yeah. There is under the Sydney Harbour Bridge, looking across at the Sydney Harbour Playhouse, the Opera House. So it was
in the New Year, we were there in the I think Christmas time or.
Oh yeah! No. Oh, it's gorgeous.
No, we were there sometime last year. And they had at nighttime they had like something called colors, and you'd go on a boat trip.
Like a light show.
At night, at nighttime, and these boats would take you. You jump on the ferry, and it would take you to all these different like the Sydney Sydney Harbour. It is Harbour House. Okay, I'm like what? Had a had like pictures on projected on them, and other little islands had stuff and different. Yeah, it was amazing. It's very cool.
No, it was, and it's you'd think you'd be able to climb up it. I could not climb up it. It's way too steep. I don't. Yeah, they.
What were you gonna climb up?
Just Sydney Opera House. There's no guards or anything. I mean, man, if I actually managed to, there would probably be a guard pretty quick. But it's too steep to climb up, and there's only limited access to get up to it.
It's really big.
It is big. I was just about to mention, Carla, that it looks like the Sydney Opera House is close to the Sydney Harbour Bridge, which is what I'm standing under. They are far apart. They are. It's a kilometer apart. So that is a big building. That is a big building.
I'm being a bit of a nerd. Like I do, on YouTube they have live cameras of like Sydney and Melbourne and stuff like that. Because I like seeing where's familiar, and there's a guy who does like it's like live Sydney views or something like that, and he did
nice.
He did the New Year's fireworks thing. That's
a big deal.
But on that too, you can see the harbour. You can see the Harbour Bridge and the Opera House. From his place as well. It's pretty cool. All free.
Would you mind reading what William Shakespeare has to say?
Okay. have a look. Canadian Spider-Man is just being modest. He climbed it. Ate lunch up there. He got the selfie. I know it's true.
Shh. William Shakespeare, don't tell.
That's
Don't go
right.
telling them
I'll get in
that.
trouble.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
Allegedly.
exactly.
Oh, a footy match in Cairns.
Yeah.
So this was
Yeah.
Port
Aussie footy.
Adelaide. This is Port Adelaide and oh shit, what's that place south of Perth? Fremantle.
Oh yeah.
Where my buddy that cooked the kangaroo tail, he's worked all kinds of crazy jobs, and he used to go to a pub when he was a kid down in Fremantle, south of Perth, and
Mm.
AC/DC used to try and get gigs at they'd play anywhere they could down in Fremantle. And he swears that he used to see AC/DC when nobody would wanted to pay to see them.
Yep.
Crazy in Fremantle. It's like, wow. And he never paid the notice of them. But anyway, so this is the Fremantle. I want to say Fremantle Dockers. Is that right? Fremantle Dockers. Now again, this photo is probably 15 years old, so this is going back 15 years. I want to say Fremantle Dockers and the Port Adelaide Willy Wankers, I think was their name.
Mm.
Yeah, maybe something like that. But it was the Eagles.
It's a weird game.
Fremantle really Dockers and the Port Adelaide Eagles. I don't know. Oh yeah, there's another the Sydney Aquarium. Yeah, though that's a now that looks like that almost looks like a hammerhead with a white tip with a pointer shark in the back.
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't know. I can't see with that shadow, but maybe not. But anyway, it's a shark. The Willy Wankers. That's right, Lisa. Yeah, they kick the shit out of each other at soccer. Exactly.
Yep.
See, I was at the game and there was a streaker and they kicked the shit out of the streaker. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
They do not mess around.
No, they don't.
Not anymore. I know they used to allow it. Not anymore. Yeah, I was surprised. Oh, okay. There's a Karenjini National Park again and this is
oh wow, look at that.
Yeah, Karenjini Gorge, and you can
chickens
climb
to jump
all
off
through it.
Or what? Are you being two chickens to jump off?
I was hanging there. I have a photo of me hanging there. It took a minute to get the photo, and then so that's me letting go. But yeah, it was fantastic. No, I climbed all the way.
Amazing.
See, I had to climb out, and you can see the flat spot about 2 feet above where my hand is. You climb out to there, and then climb down to where I'm hanging off. And the trick is to try to hang off without falling off to get the photo. And well, I managed to do that. Managed to hang on without falling off. But beautiful, and the water it's got no crocodiles in it because it's a waterfall to get down in there. And it was it's hot as hell. And the water was cool because it's in the shit. The gorge walls are so high that the sun doesn't really hit the water for that long, so the water remains cold.
Freezing.
On a hot day. Fantastic. Absolutely gorgeous.
The
reef shark type. Though reef sharks, I saw lots of those. I'm not scared of the reef sharks. Oh, you saw the exit sign in that shot. Well done. That is the Sydney Aquarium exit sign. Correct. I have a photo I took. Oh shit! Maybe I don't have it. I bet you I do. It's in my photo album. I'm looking at my photo album.
That's for another night.
That's for. I'll bring it up. I'm looking at my photo album. I can see it. It's in my photo album. But I in the Sydney Opera House, I took a photo, and it's a sign in the middle of the Opera House, inside, and it says one sign. It says to the washroom. It says women, and then the other side it says bar. And I women bar. It's like, oh, there's a choice. So I took a photo. So I have that photo from inside the Sydney Opera House. I don't know if it's still there, but I hope it's still there. That was a few years ago. No, the sharks should not have their own exit sign. You're
Mhm.
absolutely correct. Basker shark. Basker sharks can also attack humans, and they are also big. Yeah,
Wow.
that's a good question. Basker shark or white pointer. Yeah, and yeah, we don't want the sharks to get out. That's for sure. Yeah, I really can't say enough about Karenjini
Mm.
National Park and the gorges. You're just climbing amongst 5 gorges the whole time. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And there is that is off of Exmouth. So
Mm.
there's a Shark Bay, Coral Bay, and Exmouth are sort
Caution.
of all in the same area. They're about halfway up. They're about. I know I'm pronouncing it funny for a
No,
southerner,
you're fine.
but yeah, it's about halfway up Western Australia. About on the
Mhm.
same latitude as Karenjini National Park. This is right on the coast, and you can see there's Coral Bay, there's Exmouth, there's Shark Bay, which you can still swim in, and Turquoise Bay, which is my favorite. It's around the corner from Shark Bay. Turquoise Bay, absolutely
Sounds
gorgeous.
awesome. It would be.
Yeah, they were just fantastic, and it's warm to swim in. And there was a current that whipped us around one part at Turquoise Bay, and it's sort of a peninsula where the sand sticks out, and you can let the current whip you right around, and then you hop out and
Wow.
you just cross the peninsula sand, and you can whip right around again, and it's so cool. And it's a current, it's like a riptide along the coast. And so here again is the Karenjini National Park, folks, and you can
Mm.
crawl through there, and that water is so cold and refreshing because, as you can see, the gorge walls are so steep that the sun doesn't hit the water for very long, so it's nice and cold. Now, Shark Bay is it's just a name to keep away the the Spaniards, Lisa. How was the quality of the rock, Spider-Man? Um, yes, it was pretty crumbly, but not like volcanic. Like I in Whistler Ski Resort has black tusk, and it looks like a black elephant tusk, and it's volcanic. It's one of the highest peaks in Whistler. You can't really ski on it, and it's volcanic and it's crumbly as hell.
But isn't that
This,
slate type? Isn't that slate
yeah,
type rock?
I'm not.
Really?
I only took one course in geology, but yeah, it is a slate type rock here in
Mm.
this picture, and it was a little brittle, but not to the point where we didn't do stupid things. Let me tell you, I've went back since this picture was taken, and they've put up chains, and now you have to go with a guide. But during this
Mm.
picture, me and my two Canadian friends and I, we were allowed to go where we paid the park entrance fee. There was no supervision. There was no one else there, and we could just climb everywhere. Now you have to go with a guide and wear like a helmet and follow with chains, and yeah, but that's yeah, it was fantastic. Loved it, but it wasn't as brittle as volcanic rock.
No.
Yes, absolutely. A lot of iron up there, and the farther north you go in Western Australia, there's entire towns like Port Hedland comes to mind that they do nothing but mine the iron ore. And I went camping in north. The far more north you go in Western Australia, the harder it is to drive a tent peg into the ground, and the hotter the
Wow.
sand gets from the sun because there's iron ore in it, and the sand
Yeah.
stays hot for longer because there's iron ore in it. Yeah,
Our West Coast beaches are like that in Auckland as well. They're
right.
got yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. But yeah, the iron ore, it was crazy how it would heat up during the day from the sun because of and try and drive a tent peg, like a steel tent peg into the
Mm.
ground. Good fucking luck. We
Mm.
just used rocks in the corners of the tent
Mhm.
at the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, at the time, like I say, now there's chains and you got to wear helmets and have a guide. But at the time, uh, yeah, we were crawling along the cliff tops.
Mm.
And I think a lot of it was
Barefoot.
sandstone mixed with iron. Yep.
You do that all barefoot.
Well, because we wanted the maximum traction, and we had we had Israeli combat boots, otherwise known as sandals,
Yep. Yep.
or bare feet. And I'll take, climbing with bare feet. Ooh, okay.
Yep.
So this is back over
Oh,
to
wow.
New South Wales. This is New South Wales, south of Brisbane, north of Sydney, and that is
Cross Harbour
the
or something?
the Natural Bridge waterfall, and
Okay.
it's not far from Murwillumbah. It's within an hour and a half of Murwillumbah, Mount Warning kind of area, and yeah, this is Natural Bridge waterfall, and yeah, it was again cool, like really cool to go swimming in.
Yep.
New South. It's one of my favorite spots. Oh, woo-hoo-hoo. That is across the border. Murwillumbah is right on the border of Queensland and New South Wales.
New South Wales.
So I was wrong. That's on the. I just looked it up. That's on the Queensland side. That's across the border on the Queensland side. Near the Gold Coast, south of the Gold Coast. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous.
We often, because Queensland doesn't.
That's a video.
Observe,
Queensland I'll show you the video.
Doesn't
That's another video. Go ahead. Queensland doesn't observe daylight savings.
Daylight savings, and New South Wales does. So when we're there at that time of year, we drive from I think what's the place called? Tweed Heads. I think it's called Tweed Heads, where at the border of New South Wales is, and we drive over the border, and we're like, oh look, it's 6 o'clock. We drive back, and we're like, oh, it's 7 o'clock, and your Apple phone will change over.
Right.
It's really
That's
funny.
We
have no life.
Alberta and Saskatchewan have the same thing here. So that's a pineapple sea cucumber, and that's a picture taken from a video that I can show us in a bit here.
Oh yeah.
And that is a picture of coral with little Christmas tree worms popping up, but you can't quite see them. But I've got a video for that too. So this is my favorite backpackers in all the world in Port Douglas. And there's Steve waving with his lovely wife Heather and Chris. So wonderful backpackers resorts. Love Dougie's. Sea sponge. That was a sea sponge coral, but I was trying to get a picture of the Christmas tree worm, but I'll show you a video of it. Here coming up. Oh, there's me and my brother and I on the Great Barrier Reef, just doing the diving on the liveaboard. Absolutely gorgeous water. You know what? 4 days out there with my little brother Carla, it was worth all the money in the world. Absolutely.
Yeah. Priceless.
Yep. That is not CGI. That lake is a lake. It's water, and it looks like that. Guess what it's called?
Salt? It's algae? Oh, I don't know.
It's a salt that they mine not far from there. It's called Pink Lake. It's in Western Australia.
It is,
and it's north of Perth, between the Pinnacles or around the Pinnacles, about an hour and a half north of Perth, 2 hours. Pink Lake, and that's a mineral that gets all through the water due to their mining activity. But apparently it's not toxic or anything like that. So
no.
Cool.
No, yeah. That'd be right.
Hey. Pop culture curator, hello and welcome. Good to have you. Algae or minerals? It is minerals. Yeah. It is a pink mineral. Western Australia is they have minerals of all kinds. Mining is massive for minerals.
Yeah.
So that is
their opals are amazing.
Yes. Opals, yes. And in a town called Coober Pedy, you can find opals. And that is where Mad Max was filmed, the original, as well as other movies. and that is in South Australia. And you can reach that from Adelaide in 8 hours, 9 hours. It was a rough ride, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Mr. Angel says, I trust your word. It's pink. I can't see its color. Carla, would you like to describe the color of that lake?
It's actually probably a muted pink.
Mm-hmm.
A muted pink rather than you know,
Yeah.
well, like one time I tried to convince it's like salmon colored almost. My one time I had to convince
Yeah,
my
as opposed to a
son.
flamingo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said
Yeah.
I had to convince him and say that his pink floaty was faded red.
Right. Eh, eh,
So,
Okay. Yes. Right. It's faded red. Yeah. It's more like a faded red. But they call it Pink Lake, and it's close to this. And this is the
yeah.
Pinnacles Desert. And I did show a picture earlier of me a close up of at the Pinnacles. But this is the whole Pinnacles Desert. This is north
That's
of Perth,
amazing.
about an hour and
I
a
love the
half.
way they
There's
got the
no
rocks. I
Yeah.
love the rocks show you the
There was
road.
no fee.
That's the road.
There was
Stay
no
on it.
gate. There was no attendant. There's no park fees. There was no
Yep.
one
Yep.
taking. Yes, thank you, Lisa. It's mauve. It's a
Yeah, but when it's
mauve.
dark,
But they don't call
dark,
it.
you're screwed.
They call it Pink Lake because Mauve Lake was taken.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a cool. The Pinnacles. We did this in a hire car. Took us 2 days to vacuum out all the crap out of that hire car. But we did get our damage deposit back. And yeah, the Pinnacles. And may I welcome Carla? I think you know Scotty. Hello, Carla. Hello, Scotty. We're
Carla.
just looking at the Pinnacles, Scotty.
Dude,
Oh,
the
hello.
only reason I'm here, I've been there.
That's why I sent you the link. I was hoping.
Yo, this is so awesome. And as you mentioned, it's what, like 2.5, 3 hours north of Perth?
Yeah, but how do they form? Why are they there? Ooh.
Well, and okay, so I went with a young lady who was a lady friend of mine, and we went and we had such a great time being together. We always referred to this as being the trip to another planet. We had no idea.
Yeah. It's like sort of driving through Arizona, right? It's the same sort of thing.
See, I've
Mr.
never
Angel
been.
says this is not good for engines, electronics. Yeah, you're right.
Mm.
Sorry, Scotty, you've never been to where?
Arizona. So I'm not 100% sure, but like
Okay.
I lived in Perth for like a year, and so hung out there. Obviously, lovely weather and all that jazz. It was I believe they called it the most remote city in the world when I got there. I don't know. Is that for real?
Yeah, that's what I was told.
Okay, so you and me both. All right. And when we were there, it was just an interesting metropolitan center, some suburbs, and then nothing. And
yeah, that's right. Until
getting out of the
Pink Lake.
Yeah. Oh, well, see, I never saw Pink Lake.
Well,
the thing is, you see a lot of stars when you're out there. You'd see a lot of stars, right?
Yes.
And you'd see a lot of and you try driving on that road, like that road with the rocks on the side of it at nighttime. You couldn't go very fast at all.
No, not at all. But I really enjoyed that it was free and it was a cool site. And the Lonely Planet guidebook told me about it, and
awesome.
I enjoyed it. And Pink Lake was there, so why not go see Pink Lake at the same time?
Wow, you look better with your shirt off than I do.
Oh, thanks, Scotty. I do. You gotta keep. I'm 5'6", so you gotta keep in shape.
You gotta keep fit.
If you're not tall, if I was 6 foot, I could let myself go, couldn't I? But yeah, again, Karanjini National Park in Western Australia, just absolutely gorgeous cliffs, and yeah, our friend Mr. Angel was saying sandstone and iron deposits and layers. But no, that's fine. None of us are sure either. That's fine. If I remember correctly, this desert is exceptionally old from a geology perspective. And you're right, Lisa. It does look like a graveyard.
Does.
And do you mind reading what William Shakespeare has to say, Scotty?
Definitely looks like a set of the next Mad Max film, or it should be. And hail to me. Thank you so much, William Shakespeare.
Yeah.
No, it's insane. And it's interesting just in terms of the geology of it. Like, it was a very windy route, and it's a lot of sand. Like, once you get more inland, well, but if Pink Lake was there, I got nothing. But like, it is very windy in the erosion. And don't forget, on the East Coast, you have you have natural formations like the coral reefs and whatnot. It's a geologically very interesting place. Let's also not forget that some people think that Ayers Rock is because of formation based on impact from celestial bodies. So there's a lot of stuff going on
you can't
in
go there now.
I'm sorry?
To Ayers Rock, I'm pretty sure you can't go there at the moment.
Oh, that makes sense. Is it like a
might not be able
preservation site?
You might not be able to climb on it, but we were allowed
Ayers
to
Rock?
go.
No.
We're allowed to go around it, which was nice. Yeah, Carla, I see. Appreciate it. If you have to leave, I appreciate you just being here for whatever time you could, and your insights on the stars and the flag, because I wasn't sure on that. But thanks so much. And again, like, Australia is going to require at least another show, probably 2 more shows. And I've got pictures from Uluru, from Ayers Rock,
nice.
for the next show. Yeah. And Carla, anytime, because you've been to Australia more times than anyone I know, you're always welcome.
Thank you, sir.
And you can come and go as you wish.
So
it was nice to see you, Carla.
Yeah, you too. And have fun, guys, looking at beautiful Australia. It's amazing.
Loved it.
It's too hot.
That's Port Douglas. That is Port Douglas, right on 4 Mile Beach. I think we got in trouble for that. Thanks, Carla. Thank you so much.
See you, Special K.
Yeah, we had to clean up. The cops came along and we had to shut that down. And I didn't know, see, Scotty, being from Canada, when the cops come to bust you on a beach bonfire, I run off drunk into the woods, right? Into the bush.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a bad call there.
Australia, tropical, the tropical, far north Queensland, at night, you don't run off into the bush. No. And the cops, they just wanted us to quiet down. They weren't there to arrest. They're not like RCMP that will, beat you and trample you with horses. I didn't know that. So all the Australian dudes are, no problem. And I'm freaking out like, the cops.
Oh, I thought you were referring to the fact that Australian bush contains some of the most poisonous and deadly animals.
Yes.
So that's also part of the reason why you don't do that.
We're not the fear. Yeah, the police should not have been what I was running from. I should not have been running into the bush. Yeah, that's exactly why I was saying that. Exactly. And yeah, that was terrible idea. But large beach bonfires, loved it.
Fun time.
Yeah. Glad to see you on here, Scotty. Thanks for being here.
Hey, this is pleasure. Thank you.
This is again Port Douglas in far north Queensland, and just love the marina. And another stupid thing, while we're on the topic of stupid animal could have killed you stories.
Sure.
This picture's taken from a pier, and my buddy's hat, big sombrero, he's Australian, blew off into the woods, or into the water while we're fishing. He doesn't go retrieve it. I'm thinking, that's fucked. And I think, well, he doesn't swim, I guess. So he just goes after another beer, doesn't worry about his hat. I disappear. He thought I was going to take a leak. No. Next thing, I come back soaking wet out of the marina with his hat. And he starts freaking out. He goes, no, Port Douglas. There's 18 crocodiles that we know of are in there, and this is where the fishermen clean their fish. Is in. I said, okay, so they're well fed then, at least. Yeah, he couldn't believe I went in after a stupid $10, hat. Yeah, dumb.
Well, and like when, as I mentioned, I was living in Perth and I was just sort of near urban beaches, like
Yep.
Bondi. No, not Bondi.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the one?
Cottesloe.
Cottesloe. Yeah.
Northern, City Beach.
Yep. Totes.
Yep.
I was only there once. And
That's
it
Port
was
Douglas.
just, it reminded me of Sobble Beach, except it was way better. But it was a very City Beach was very tourist trap. It was like going to a mall.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
That
Cottesloe was
is
better.
a very cool boat. If you want to go
Nice.
from Cairns to Port Douglas, as Carla would say, that is the Quicksilver boat. They've got 3 of them, I believe. They are very fast. Very fast. Very cool.
They are cool.
3-hour tour. That boat, it would take you 15 minutes.
Oh, did you ever get to where do they have the quokkas?
The Quokkas?
That's them.
Quokkas, yes. Yeah.
Rat Nest. Yes. Did you ever get there?
I did. Yeah.
Me too. I got to see a quokka.
Yes. I've got some photos for next time. Good. My brother had his honeymoon there because he married a Western Australian girl. And parents and I were all down there visiting. I was visiting from Japan. Parents were from Canada. And we were all down there. And he took us all to Rottnest Island on his honeymoon.
Nice.
And we stayed there for, I think it was overnight. We got a bunch of rooms at the resort there. And we stayed overnight. Yeah, it was great. So, and you can bicycle around Rottnest Island, which is nice.
Yes, it's the primary mode of transportation.
Yeah, no vehicles, which is good. I made the mistake of going camping there once, Scotty, during Schoolies Week, which when all the university students and high school students are out, and it was chaos. Yeah, the quokkas were going around with beer cups on their head. It was. I have photos and videos of that. I'm not even joking of that. That is
I am ashamed of humanity.
Oh, dude. No, I don't think the quokkas needed much encouragement. They are the only animal that their survival strategy is, and look this up, when they're running and they have pouches, because they're kind of like little mini.
They're marsupials.
Big. Yeah, they're marsupials. But if they're being chased, they'll chuck the young out of their pouch, and so the prey can have the young and they escape. And apparently, that's an effective survival strategy.
I wonder how quickly. I have to find this out. How quickly do they gestate?
The quokkas.
Are they actual like Earth tribbles?
They're only native to Rottnest Island, which is
true.
2 hours off the coast of Perth.
Yeah, we had to take a boat. We had to take a boat like that there.
Yep, and there is again 4 Mile Beach off of Port Douglas. Absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous beach. And rhinoceros beetle next to a Carlton Cold, which is one of my favorite. Carlton Cold.
Carlton Cold is
you like coldies, I bet. Yeah.
Oh, I would. You know what? I was more of a Tui's guy, but that might be more West Coast. Yeah.
And Tui's new. Yep, I like Tui's and Tui's new. Look, Fred, another tourist line swimming to us. Yes, exactly.
Well, and because
hi, Alec. Talking about Australia. Yes. Yeah, exactly. One, it's going to require a couple of shows because Australia.
Yeah,
there's a lot to it. I did manage to talk my way out of it, so we're fine. He's smiling, I'm smiling.
Exactly.
We're all smiling. The handcuffs were put away, so it's all good.
Can you take a pic? Can we have a picture while you're letting me go?
He obliged.
Yep.
Oh, Carla Burton, I don't know if you're still listening. I was telling Carla Burton that she is familiar with the original Big Brother in Australia, the Big Brother show. And one of the stars of that show, probably the most famous, was she had bunny ears and she did the bum dance. And she was a hoot. And what was her name? Fideli. Sarah Marie Fideli. Sarah Marie. Yeah, Sarah Marie. Those are the actual ears that she wore on Big Brother. Yeah. Those are, she wore a couple pairs. Those are one of the original. I think she had two. Those are the original ears she wore on the show, which she was famous for at the time. We have mutual friends. We spent some Christmas time together. There is Shell Beach in Western Australia.
Oh, yeah.
North of Perth again.
Yes.
You can see how long it is in the background. And it is something like 30 feet deep, or 10 meters deep at the thickest part, and it goes inland for again, I want to say 30, 40, 50 feet. It was a big beach, entirely made of shells, guy. Crushed to the point where you could, people had contractors had cut out like almost like limestone. It was compacted like cement, and they made blocks out of compacted shell material. It's unbelievable. Shell Beach, and it is named Shell Beach.
Toads. I've heard of it. I've never been there.
Yeah. There's my Easter avatar. Exactly. Hey, thanks for being here, Dalek.
Cheers.
And don't forget, I've been to Australia 3 times. Right, Dalek? Man, I'd love to have you on, Dalek. Absolutely. I'm going to be doing at least another one or probably 2 shows, because it's a big country. Even the bunnies in Australia are huge. And what was your favorite highlight about living in Perth, Scotty?
Oh man, they had this great arcade.
Ooh.
No, it's just funny. Like I lived there for like a year, and a lot of it. I'm more of an urban guy. I'm not an outdoorsman as yourself. And so I enjoed working in the bar that I worked in. I liked the nightlife, baby.
There was an arcade I went to. It had a $2 movie theater in it. It was a long, narrow arcade.
Yeah.
It had 2 or 3 levels. It was underground.
It was the first time I ever played like an actual arcade version of Guitar Hero.
Ooh.
So this isn't
nice.
Specific to Australia.
No, that is a shovelhead shark,
which is delightful.
Yeah.
But it was really the way home, and the reason I bring it up is because of the wildlife is
amazing.
Coming home, I had to drive up the west coast of Australia to get to Darwin. We stopped off, did diving. I forget where it was, but it's supposed to be some of the best skin diving. So it was just snorkeling.
Ooh.
And I saw a reef shark, saw some sea turtles, beautiful fish. And just, you walked out, and it wasn't as majestic as the beach of Shell Beach, but when it was about 10 feet of beach, and then it was shallow water, and then it was an ocean shelf that just went into coral reefs and wildlife.
Warm.
And it was warm. So you didn't have to be a strong swimmer. You could just sort of humana. And
you can float because of salt water.
Yes.
It's not like swimming in a lake. In Canada, if you can't swim in a lake, you're dead because you'll sink.
Yes.
That is an animal that we're looking at.
What? He seems to like rock and roll. Fan of the Blair Witch.
That is a St. Andrew's Cross spider. Did you learn about these ones?
No.
That they bite, and apparently there's something in you that can come back years later, and it's flesh eating. And it can lead years down the road, reactivate and eat your flesh somehow. St. Andrew's Cross spider. So he's got 4 pairs of legs going out, and then his body.
Oh, so he's upside down.
But he's sort of upside down. Yeah, his head is looking down, and then he's got 2. You can see that his legs are paired. He's got 4 pairs. Scary shit.
He just looks like he's about to rock.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, St. Andrew's Cross spider. Oh, there's another. Me and my buddy scuba diving. His name is also Steve. Sunset on Great Barrier Reef.
beautiful.
I couldn't take. No, that's not Saint. No, that is. That is. I took that on City Beach. Yep, that's on City
Nice.
Beach. Yep.
Nice.
I saw wicked thunderstorms on City Beach because they come in from the West Coast and just roll over Perth, as you know.
Yes.
And you can watch them come in for hours because they're way out to sea.
The Fremantle Doctor. When it got hot in the summertime, you'd be like, it's incredibly hot, and it would be like 11 o'clock in the morning, and then they would be like, don't worry, by noon, it was like by 3 o'clock, the Fremantle Doctor will be in, and it was almost like a planned breeze or drizzle, and it would just cool everybody off and then immediately go away. It would get hot again.
Yep. Any bit of a drizzle, really, because by 9 in the morning up in Northern Territory, it was hot sometimes, and
sure,
and same with WA. 100%.
I did, but I think that Perth is more like living in like California, although
West Coast,
like in terms of weather-wise.
So if you go to Sydney and you go to the Sydney Harbour Bridge, one end of it is at they built the bridge up. They took advantage of the natural hills that as on ramps, and there's an observatory, an astronomer's observatory on one end of the Sydney Harbour Bridge, and that is the front lawn. And I thought it was a beautiful shot overlooking the city from the observatory by the Sydney Harbour Bridge, and it's a beautiful place. I had a little. It's a private place up there. I had a little sneaky adult beverage and a sandwich on the lawn up there. It was fantastic. And there's the Sydney Harbour Bridge that we were just speaking of.
Delicious.
Yeah, I thought so. Now you can do tours that can go right up over the. I went up the pillars. They're about 2/3 of the height. But I didn't go all the way across on the bridge. I think it was like $90 or something. And I said, well, for $14.95, I can go 2/3 of the way up.
Yeah.
So I could have.
It's economics. I understand. You're a traveler.
Ooh. There's some red snapper. And, no, that's definitely that's some perch. Love. That's a Sydney seafood market. The Sydney seafood market is famous, same as the Tokyo seafood market. I
can't control myself when I hear red snap.
Oh, well, this is a little known tourist attraction in Western Australia, and if you go to, there's a town outside of Bunbury, south of Perth. There's a town outside of Bunbury that just got their first roundabout not too long ago called Collie. And Collie is where one of the biggest aluminum mines in all of Western Australia is. But they have Gnomesville. And people just randomly, for no reason, just at a traffic intersection, and it spread to the woods, have just started leaving gnomes. And they've made a gnome village just in the middle of out in the countryside in a random intersection and the woods.
I want one in Ontario.
You won't find that in the tourist books. I had a local show me that, folks.
But that's the best part. And that's something that is remarkable about Australia is that, like, I don't know, there's a lot of people who say that they're criminals and they'll steal everything, but they're not gonna. Sometimes they leave their gnomes in one place. It is very communal when it is.
Yep. I thought you'd enjoy it.
I did love the gnomes. Thank you.
So yeah, that's we're back to the first with that picture, but towards. Yeah, I'm glad you showed up here towards the end here, Scotty, because a lot of these pictures here are in Perth and WA. Yeah.
Well, and I appreciate that. That's the only reason I came on, because I was like, I recognize that place.
Yeah.
But did you drive in Australia, or do you drive?
I did. Yeah.
Nice.
I was given a backpacker car, And I remember distinctly because it didn't lock in the upright position. So we used, I swear to God, a gasoline petrol can, plastic jug, and a propane tank. The two most explosive things you could think of, directly behind my seat.
Sounds
and
Australian.
Propped it up. It's Australian backpacker. Yeah. And it was a Ford, a baby blue Ford Falcon station wagon. Yeah. And I bought it for like I don't know, $200, and you
Nice.
get all the camping equipment with it. Like the camping equipment was worth that because they're flying home to England. They're not going to take the camping equipment home with them. They sell the whole thing. If you want a car fully equipped with all the camping equipment, you go to a hostel.
Yeah.
And look on the bulletin board, right? You know what I'm talking about.
I do. And the thing is that it's accepted.
I did drive.
Just don't get caught.
Drive? Did you drive?
Oh, yeah. No, I got a job there. I had to.
Okay, good.
And so I learned how to drive standard on the wrong side of the road.
Oh, you learned. That's where you chose to learn how to drive.
No, I got a job and they said, "Can you drive standard?" And I was like, "Well, I've driven a Firebird once." And they're like, "Okay." And but you can drive. And I was like, "Of course I can drive."
Yeah,
and then I got on the road for the first day. Now, mind you, I'm being paid. And I was like, "Oh, right.
Hey, Big Dave K.
Other side of the road."
As long as you're being paid, yeah.
Welcome, so I figured it out quickly and I never got fired.
What could go possibly wrong? Exactly. Did you have a gas jug and a propane canister supporting your...
In no way was I trying to compare, sir.
Oh my,
you were a rocket man. You were the Ned Kelly.
Could have been. It could have been.
That's how Ned Kelly got shit done. Sorry.
Nice. Ned Kelly. Yes, apparently. He's a real thing. Like, he's a real hero that actually put a steel bucket on his head. Well,
to fight the man.
Yeah, he was sort of a hero, but he's
kind of like a Jesse James.
Yeah,
oh no, you got to make that that has to be your profile.
Yeah, picture. Easter. Yeah, I don't.
Well, no, they're famous ears.
They are famous ears, but only to Australians, and only to Australians that would were watching TV in 2001. But it was on. You could not backpack anywhere in Australia, anywhere in 2001 without seeing Big Brother. And then so backpackers that I had gone on adventures with, gone scuba diving with, or whatever, I would later on send them photos of me with Sarah Marie from Big Brother, do it like out getting Marin from the pond or something. And they're saying, "Is that fucking Sarah Marie? There's no fucking way. Like, how is that Sarah Marie?" It's like, well, I didn't even know that my friends who were related to her, didn't even know they were. Yeah, it was cool. Anyway,
it is really cool.
Those ears are kind of famous. Yeah,
They look good on you. Do you get a free bowl of soup with them?
I should. Ooh, is that that's at the cartoon show, isn't it?
No,
I thought that was I thought it was a Family Guy.
No, remember?
Caddyshack. Oh, that's far better.
Oh, that's a nice hat.
Caddyshack. You get a free bowl of soup with it. I gotta watch that movie again. So we're just going over. These are Port Douglas.
These are great. These are all fantastic.
Far North Queensland, which is diagonally opposite to Perth.
I love
for
that.
Those people that don't know that.
I love the boats, but I love the mountains, and I do love that volcano. I don't know where is the volcano.
That's the Daintree Rainforest is what you're looking at. The Daintree Rainforest, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it is the only place that I'm aware of that one World Heritage Site meets another World UNESCO Heritage Site, which is the Great Barrier Reef. The Daintree Rainforest and you can at Cape Tribulation, you can walk off the beach and go on the reef because they meet. Not in Cairns, not in Port Douglas, but a little farther north.
It was really, thank you, William Shakespeare. It was really funny driving up because you'd have to go inland from time to time. But we were driving in a camper van that we rented. We didn't steal a car like you and get rocket boosters.
At no time did I say I stole it.
No, I know, but it makes it more interesting.
I
doesn't
bought it. He was the original.
You did
Yes,
say you bought it. You did. You
I
did.
did.
You were.
Yeah, I paid like $200. It wasn't steal. I felt like I was robbing the guy, but I passed it on to. I don't even think I charged him any money. It was another Canadian buddy of mine. I just passed.
But
That's what you do.
I crossed a desert, a rainforest.
Hello.
Like there
Take your
was
time.
so many different like ecospheres.
All in Australia. Yeah,
Yeah.
incredible. I mean, this is Port Douglas. It just tropical as you can imagine. Just
That's
beautiful
stupid.
Port Douglas. And then you go diagonally across, and you go, and they're the Pinnacles Desert in Western Australia. So,
Yeah.
and here you go, Western Australia, right here.
Well, and the thing is that the more you get to the interior of the continent itself, it's just this. It's just wasteland.
Yeah, yeah, but it's got its own geological beauty to it.
I never went there.
I flew over. I drove because I made a point.
Australia.
I made a point of driving everywhere, but then I have a couple of times flown across if I'm going across for whatever reason. And
yes.
Like my brother in Western Australia, my dad was there visiting, and we took him diagonally across to the Great Barrier Reef because he'd been to Australia 4 times. He'd never been to the Great Barrier Reef, so we flew him up. We stayed here. We put him up at the Sheraton Mirage. Very fancy. Well, if it's good enough for Bill Clinton, the Sheraton Mirage is good enough for my father. So we stayed across the street here. It snuck over there to use their pools. You just don't take your own pool towels. You use the hotel pool towel and you clutch onto that. And as long as you got one of those, you're golden. They will not mention anything to you.
Kind of like Clinton.
Kind of like Clinton. Ooh, okay. I have photos. Right. I almost forgot I had these. You want to see something?
Yeah, I do.
This is the Natural Arch waterfall in just across the border of New South Wales into Queensland. But this I have. That's a parrotfish.
And that's your footage. That's
Sorry. Also, yeah, night dive on the Great Barrier Reef. It was a banded shrimp. Do you want to see it again?
Yes.
A banded shrimp. Yep, he's in there.
Who abandoned it?
Okay, and here, do you want to see a seal face pufferfish?
Twice.
I know you want to see a seal face pufferfish. It's not a long commitment. There you go.
That's what I was afraid of. She broke up with me too quickly.
And here's a pineapple sea cucumber. They move real quick. You gotta.
Yep, still better than Ezra Miller.
Indeed. A pineapple sea cucumber. So that's night diving on the Great Barrier Reef, folks. Oh, I get it. Greetings from Camp Granada. Caddyshack.
No, that's Hello Mutta, Hello Fada.
Here I am at
Greetings. There we are.
Yeah. Thanks, Big Dave K. I must visit Oz again. Yes, you definitely should. Absolutely. Rhyme with Danada.
You're welcome.
He tried to rob your wallet. Oh, the banded sea shrimp. Yes, of course, because he was a bandit. Yes, banded. Close. I liked him. He was cool. This is a female parrotfish. Yeah, apparently the color, you can tell by the color. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Well,
I
I'll
did
know
enjoy it.
next time I'm hitting on a parrotfish.
Right. The more muted colors are the female.
Thank you
Yes.
for that.
Carangini Gorge, massive 5 gorges that all meet and converge upon one another, and you just crawl all through them and climb. Sometimes you can see, you can touch. Sometimes, Scotty, you walk along the floor of the ravine, and it's like a kilometer across, and there's like a full on like ponds and lakes and everything down there, and there's no crocodiles because there's waterfalls, and the crocodiles can't survive the water.
Well, they stick to the lakes and the rivers that they're used
to. Gordon Lightfoot? No,
that's a different one. Don't go chasing waterfalls is TLC.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Again, Western Australia beaches, can't go wrong with the Western Australia beaches.
So great.
Carangini National Park, shark. Yes, the Australian rules football. Man, I saw them play. I gotta hand it to them. That's up there with hockey. That's up there with hockey as far as a.
Can I make an admission?
Yes.
All right. So, of course,
what'd you do?
I saw cricket when I got into cricket instead of the Aussie rules football. And I think that everyone in the audience, everyone here, everyone who knows me, would agree that I'm much more of a cricket guy than an Aussie rules football.
It's the sweater.
It is the sweater.
They're nice sweaters.
Yeah, I do enjoy a nice sweater.
I know you do. And but you know what? Have you like looked at a cricket bat up close?
Oh yeah.
You could, holy shit.
You fuck
beat
somebody
the
up.
Shit out of, like, I'd take that over a hockey stick.
For sure.
Like,
well, not a goalie stick. I'd take a goalie stick.
Oh, goalie stick. Yeah, okay. Goalie stick. Yeah, that's right. And there's the Sydney Opera
Oh,
House.
nice. That's a beautiful shot.
And the bridge. Yeah, I quite liked it. They're quite far apart. That is a large building, as I said previously.
Yes.
It says no standing. That lady is standing there.
No, it says no stopping.
Oh. Well,
she's spelled Australian.
She's doing both.
She is doing both.
That's my friend. Shout out to Chloe. She's feeding it in the Sydney Aquarium a great white shark. And kangaroos in Bunbury, actual wild kangaroos.
Did you ever the pleasure of feasting upon one?
I funny you should mention that. I did. A kangaroo tail stew, which was done in a pizza oven.
Nice.
This is again Western Australia. This would be the northern beaches again. And anywhere. Well, shit. I mean, they all look like this. Cottesloe, northern beaches, City Beach, all along Western
Scarborough.
Scarborough. Thank you. Yep, that's up the north. Yep, good one. Yeah, that's a good one. In fact.
Oh yes, sir.
I think this is close to Scarborough Beach. Yep.
I lived across the street from Scarborough Beach for approximately 4 months.
Well, then you might recognize this area. I think that's Cottesloe, but much further down. But we're in, I remember this day. And I walked up from Cottesloe. So we are north of Cottesloe. Well, obviously, because the ocean's on the right. And that is in Scarborough. And Scarborough is north. So, yeah, that is in the funny. You should mention that. What a coincidence.
I remember those. I remember the color of the roads.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. And just beautiful for walking. Mm-hmm. And the Australian ladies like to walk as well with bikinis. And
there was one day that we ended up just walking for like 10 kilometers. And then we got to a point and it's like, are you tired? Yeah, me too. What do you want to do? Walk 10 kilometers.
There's Kings Park with the center of Kings Park there, overlooking Perth.
Yep.
From Kings Park.
Beautiful. Went there once, right before I was wasted. It was right before when we saw Pulp Fiction in near Kings Park. In Kings Park?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Kings Park overlooking the city.
Yes.
And those buildings are pretty iconic shape, but and the Swan Bells which you can't really see, but
They're
the
over there.
swan
I can.
bells,
Well, no, they're a little, but they're. It's
they
because of this peninsula.
they're under my cursor here. They're under my cursor.
That's not where.
Swan
Oh,
bells.
you're talking about the new ones. The thing that looks like a giant armadillo
It
penis.
looks like a giant swan, and it rings bells like 3 times a day.
Oh
or
no,
something.
but there's one that looks. They got like some glass tower that looks. It's a very pointy, phallic structure.
Oh, okay.
Is that the swan bells?
I was told yes, it is.
I was told the swan. I was told
glass. Yes.
Yeah, I was told the swan bells by people who live in Perth is not necessarily enjoyed by people from Perth.
Oh no, it's not. No, it's not. I didn't really enjoy it. Want to see a Big Dave K for my part 2? I have pictures from Tasmania. I enjoyed Tasmania. It does look a lot like. Have you ever been to Vancouver Island, Scotty? Victoria?
Yes.
Okay. Hobart.
Yes.
Twin sister city with Vancouver Island, in my opinion, and Kangaroo Island, which is off the coast of Melbourne on the way to Tasmania. I have not been, and Phillip Island, I think, is there too. Haven't been there, but I went to, like, once you've been to like 100 islands around Australia, like, I'm not gonna go to another. Done it.
You've seen one, you've seen them all. You've been able to be killed by so many bugs.
That's yes. Would you mind reading this from our friend Edge of Time, please?
Edge of Time in the chat says, they should have named it sea mac and cheese. Are you animal, vegetable, or mineral? Sea cucumber, sea mac and cheese. I really enjoyed how that's going to be the name of my first album, Sea Mac and Cheese.
And Ayers Rock. Yep. No, next week, or well, next Australia show. I'm not sure I'll do it next week. We'll see. Thank you. Glad you like it. I don't spell it Granada because someone will pronounce it like Canada. Grenada. That's Grenada, right?
No, it's Granada.
Ah. She stopped. Take her down, police.
They're coming right at me.
Stop. Yeah, underneath the bridge. Yes. Yep. Excuse me. Hey, did you guys ever hit a kangaroo on the highway? Yes. Because what happened to us late at night? If you tried to drive in the countryside, outside of a city, if you try to drive in Australia at night, you're going to hit a kangaroo.
I never did.
I hit one in Tasmania. It was a baby. I've told this story before, a couple months ago. I rented a car and in Tasmania to go down to see Hobart from Launceston, and in Tasmania, there's lots of kangaroos running everywhere, but they're the smaller ones. They're not the big ones that you see in WA, in Western Australia. And there was this mom and their little Joey and I slowed right down, and they were hopping alongside the road, and I slowed down to a walking speed, and the mom takes off in the bush. And what does the baby do? Right out in front of the car. But because I was going so slow, I jam on the brakes and I bump him, and he hops off, and he's fine. And I get out of the car and I'm yelling at him.
Why you needed his license and registration?
It really upset me to hit him, but he was fine.
Well, yeah, but what are you gonna do?
He was fine.
You're negotiating. I only had 2 incidents in a vehicle with kangaroo. The first one was kangaroo raced our vehicle, and the other one was when we went camping, like Carnarvon, Western Australia.
Yes, that's up north, Western
and
Australia.
We went camping there, and
way north.
We were told to drive slowly because kangaroos, they're not like deer if you're in Canada or any other animal, is if your headlights shine into the face of a kangaroo, their eyes will not reflect the light. You will never see the headlights in a kangaroo. And so there's no reflection.
Right. That I wonder if their vision is as good at night then.
Well,
That's
they're
interesting.
probably blinded, and that's
Good
why they
night,
just
Mr. Angel.
stop. Good night, Mr.
Have
Angel.
he's starting his day, so have a good start to your day.
Delicious.
Yeah, absolutely. It was from Brisbane all the way back to Adelaide. Ah, okay, that's cool, Big Dave K. And Dalek says he has relatives in Perth. It was the first place we visited when we went there, first time, partly to visit them. I'm glad you got to see Sydney and Perth, Dalek. I highly recommend anyone that's only been to Sydney, go to Perth. It's completely different. It's like the difference between Toronto and Vancouver.
Yeah, and vice versa. I should really go to Sydney.
Yeah. Yeah. You hit a gray kangaroo. They're just as stupid as the deer are. Yeah, it's smaller than the red kangaroo. Yep, absolutely. I'm thinking of a cat who just can't catch a mouth to impress his son. Despicable.
Oh, father. I'm so ashamed.
Now this is taken from down near the Swan Bells, looking towards Perth.
Oh, yep.
And looking towards Kings Park, so the other side of the city now.
You know, and it's interesting because when was this picture taken?
2016. This one would have been.
Oh wow! So this is post all. They took down all the cranes.
Yeah. Well, I have some pictures from some of them. I do have pictures from as far back as 2001, but these are from 2016.
Yeah, but like when I was there, it was all just construction.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of, there's a crane right back in behind that picture. There were cranes, but not as many as I'd seen previously. You're actually good observation. Now I hadn't thought of that, but you're right.
It looks really, really good. It looks good in 2016.
Cottesloe Beach.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's the who's it? That's the Heath Ledger beach, isn't it?
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Would
you mind reading this from William Shakespeare?
Not at all. William Shakespeare says, so does Oz have a special, quote, kangaroo smash car rental insurance, quote? That seems like a serious issue. No, the best part is that there's no insurance. If you kill the kangaroo, you just take it to the local abattoir and you probably have 200 Australian dollars in meat.
Mm-hmm. That's same as if you hit it, but it'll be bloody and full of.
Oh no, you can actually take it to an abattoir. They'll give you $200 for it. I was warned because
I want the meat.
You can get ground kangaroo in the grocery store. And
yes.
the people that I talked to, they were like, never buy it. It is literally roadkill. They viewed it the same way as I looked at hot dog ingredients. But because I like hot dogs, I totally made spaghetti out of kangaroo. I made bolognese.
It was hit on the road, as long as it wasn't dragged under the car for a couple of miles.
You know what? I don't know. I'm sure that there's some way to get these meats into the grocery stores.
You definitely should, Big Dave K. He says, I think the next time I visit Oz, I'll have to rent a small camper and learn. Well, they call them caravans over there. And learn to drive on the other side. Absolutely, you should. It'll come in handy for Ireland, England, all over the place. I didn't have a problem, Scotty, driving over there. And like I said, I drove all around. Melbourne is tricky because when you want to turn right, you get into the left lane and you wait until all the straight traffic is done, and then you cross all the lanes. The reason for that is in the very middle, they have streetcars that go down. And when they used to have the turning lanes there, cars would nose in too close and the street car would take them out. So now that's a straight lane and the turning lane is here. If I did a sufficient job of explaining that.
Well, the worst part about the Matrix is that you can't be told what it is. You have to see it for yourself.
But driving, the hardest part was returning to Canada. I forgot how to drive in Canada because I had been there for a year and some, and I'd gotten used to it. But it was returning to Canada that I had the near misses.
Well, and the lady I was with, when she tried to traverse Canadian highways, she pulled a hard left off of an off ramp, and so basically just started going into traffic. And I was like, babe, you're not in Australia. Stop the car, pull over to the median. And she was like, am I going the wrong way? And she started to freak out. And I was like, I played Grand Theft Auto. I know how to work this. We can get a 1-star rating.
That's right.
We don't have to floor it and freak
Western
out.
Australia.
It's
Western
amazing.
Australia countryside.
Well, dude, and I love the foliage in Western Australia.
Yeah, me too. That's why I took them. And I'm holding freshwater lobster. Freshwater. They're called marron. The marron. And they don't have the big claws, but they are freshwater, and they were fantastic.
In Fallout, they call them rad roaches.
Ooh. Do you mind reading what Dalek, our friend Dalek, has to say in the chat?
Dalek says, we spent a week in Perth before we flew over to Sydney to spend a week there. My parents did that as well,
Beautiful.
Dalek. I am envious of you, sir. That is a fantastic experience. Not just a trip, but an experience.
Hold up. Now, that's, so I would highly recommend, if you've seen one side, see the other, because they're absolutely different, as night and day, as France and England, as Toronto and Vancouver, LA and New York. They have a lot of craft beers in WA, a lot of delicious craft beers, Scotty.
Yeah, but the thing is, they do. They do.
Expensive.
Well, everything was
delicious pub food.
Foods. But like, it was expensive, but it was really high quality.
There's kangaroo tail.
Well,
there it is in the stew. My good friend Harry put it in a pizza oven that he hand built. Then he cooked the kangaroo stew in a red wine sauce for a long time with the veggies and the thyme, red wine and Vegemite sauce. And there it is. It's as dark as chocolate. It was so rich. It was wild tasting, like venison, but really good. Really, really good. Yep. Absolutely love it. Anyway, pufferfish. Did not have the balls to try that. Another shovel head shark. And the beaches, again, this is up in Western Australia near Exmouth.
Nice.
Exmouth and Shark Bay. Turquoise Bay is up there. Turquoise Bay is my favorite because it was the smallest, but Shark Bay, Exmouth, which is the same latitude as Karanjini National Park with the gorges that you can climb through. So it's well worth. I mean, it's 10 hours north of Perth, folks. It's a good long drive. But redback spider.
Oh, I haven't seen one of those since it bit me. Fuck you and your family.
That's how I got my powers. Yeah, that's
Then you're Australian Spider-Man.
This is something else that was really fun in WA, Walpole National Park.
Wow. I think it was just a matter of when we were stable enough and had enough money to do the touristy things. It was the wrong time of year to do it because it was windier and what the hell. And then at that point, like, the disposable income started to go away because we realized we were saving up to go home.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. That's when you live overseas. That's exactly what it is. Yep. So there's only about, the middle part of your time there that you can really, and if you make friends, that you can go and do stuff for free.
Well, yeah, but it's always weather permitting, and the weather here is crazy. Like their winters are rainstorms that last for weeks.
Edge of Time says, I'm not obese. I'm an opportunistic eater. Some tree kangaroo. And would you mind, since you're much more musical than I, would you mind reading this from Big Dave K?
I come from a land down under.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a beautiful place, folks. Well, those are all the slides, and it's been 2.5 hours.
Nice.
And I've had Carla on, and I've had Scotty join, and I've had fantastic. The chat hasn't stopped going. So obviously Australia is of interest to people. I honestly could do 3 shows on Australia. Tasmania and the Red Center could be a show just of its own. That might be Tasmania, the Red Center. Another show with the Rottenest Island, for example. I've got photos from there.
Dude, Rotto.
Have you heard of Nimbin, Scotty?
Dude, I had a Nimbin. I had a Nimbin
Okay.
pen. Yes.
Okay. You know about Nimbin. Okay.
Yeah.
I have photos from the Sydney Pride Parade from 2001 with some crazy protesters there. It was, I've got some great photos. And this is so opposite side. This is Port Douglas, 4 Mile Beach in Port Douglas, which isn't really 4 miles.
Like, and that's not like, look at the water.
Yeah. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And you can drive all
see
along
the terrain. You can see the terrain of the beach and everything, the banks of like, just based on the clarity of the water, it is gorgeous.
There's Cairns. Love Australia. Yep, absolutely love Australia. Cockatoos. The cockatoos were loud.
Do you have any pictures of emus?
I don't.
Son of a pussy.
No, I don't. But this is Hammersley Gorge in Karenjini National Park, and this is where you can see the strata. Is that the different layers of the rocks that they go vertical, where it pushed up at some point? So, hey, LDG is here. Hi, LDG. Good to see you. I saw you stream, and you were on last night, and I heard you, LDG, talk about they covered, holy shit, him and I think it was Wes. Yeah, it was Wes. He was on for an hour talking about all kinds of shit, and I didn't chat much, but I listened to the whole thing. LDG spoke about toasters in an elegant way for like a half an hour. If you want a good toaster commentary, go watch Wes's chat with LDG last night. It was really good. Just a commentary on modern electronics and how they don't last as long, and how, Amazon will sell you 10 that look real nice and they last a week.
I will be sure to check it out.
Ken, you go back to the beginning of the slides for us showing up late. Big Dave K, it's been 2.5 hours, buddy. I'm going through them. I'm not a binge eater. I'm a sight feeder, some catfish.
You know what the best part is? If you said, and it's up to you. It's like,
that's from my plane. That's out the plane window.
Is that
the Great Barrier Reef?
Oh, that's true. It looks incredible, but it also looks like it looks like there are gases emitting from the Great Barrier Reef.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful picture.
Sorry, I interrupted. Yes, I thought I had to say that. You were saying if I'm okay with it. Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, if anybody wants to see all the slides from the beginning with added Carla Burton, all you got to do is rewind this to the beginning, and you've got 2 hours and 40 minutes of entertainment.
And Carla is extremely entertaining, and she has been to Australia probably more times than anyone I know.
That looks like a small Ewok riding like a mechoid.
Ooh, that's a golden orb spider, and he's facing down.
It's terrifying. No, I know. I can see that it's his carapace.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. A lot of spiders face down. I don't know why. Well, I guess insects are gonna come from up. They don't fall from the sky often.
Well, no, but isn't Australia very famous for drop spiders?
Drop bears, yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, are drop bears real? I never had one.
No, of course not.
Okay, good.
Yeah, koala bears are just kind of insane. Yeah.
I was afraid.
This is Buffalo Beach again in Western Australia, near Bunbury, south of Perth.
I saw people having the coitus on a beach.
Ooh, that's dark.
Well, no, they were covered. It's just it was very obvious.
It happens. This is one of the liveaboard boats that you can stay out on the Great Barrier Reef and stay out there. I stayed out there for 4 days. It was fantastic.
How was it?
It was 4 dives a day. It was like being in just bliss. You were busy. Yeah, and those are some of the reefs that we visited with Cairns Dive Center. Just fantastic. Briggs Reef, Milne Reef, Moore Reef, Tetford Reef. And you know what? I went back and saw them 16 years apart, or 14 years apart, Scotty, and they had not degraded at all, much to my chagrin, despite what they told us 14 years previous. They were, and everyone was saying, yep, it's miraculous. 85% of them in this area are doing better than they have. So, yeah, it's in good shape. But here's
go pick at them
on the Great Barrier. No, you're not allowed to. Do not touch.
Of course not. I'm being.
Don't touch nothing.
I know.
Yeah, but see, and you can. Yeah, now when you're not diving, you can go and swim in the water. It was about 84 degrees on the surface. So that's like nice swimming pool temperature
for sure.
And you can see the lighter olive green patch is the reef, so it's right accessible, and you're out in the ocean. It's a 2-hour boat ride back to the mainland, so you're out there. But like we said, you can swim because of the salt water.
Yes.
We fed them scraps from dinner. all the fishies from there.
Did you at any moment think that you needed a bigger boat?
Not at all.
Good.
Nope, that came to mind. Not at all. Any sharks or dangerous animals that are on the Great Barrier Reef are so well fed, they're not going to come near me with my metal tank and my bubbles.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, look at all the fish around you. If they by the time they get through all the other fish, they're like, no, seriously,
not interested in a guy in a rubber suit. Actually, the Great Barrier Reef, the water was so warm. Often, I would just put on my buoyancy control device, the vest that has the bracket for the tank. You wouldn't need a wetsuit, and that you're just in your bathing suit, and it felt so free. When you go diving in Tasmania, you've got like 7-layer full suit, and then another 7-layer torso, and then gloves and a hoodie. You don't really feel free. So, yeah, this was incredible. Absolutely incredible. I highly recommend a live aboard.
Would you ever live on a boat?
I think I could. Yep. Like I said, I spent 4 days on this. I've spent 8 days on the Galapagos Islands. 8 days and the waves were pretty. Yeah, I think I could live on a boat. Cool. Yeah, I think I might enjoy it. What about you?
I don't know.
As long as you like the water. I mean, you get sunsets.
I do enjoy, but like the thing is that the sea was angry that day, my friends. Like I would get you're sort of I do enjoy stable ground.
There's the middle. There's flying over from the Great Barrier Reef over to Perth, and there is the McDonald mountain ranges and the McConnell ranges are there, as well as others. Those are the only two that I'm familiar with, and it just looks like a big seam in the middle of the continent. You know, it's pretty impressive.
It is absolutely just ecologically, geologically, botanically.
Mm-hmm. And here we are, Great Barrier Reef again.
There he is.
And I recommend doing the liveaboard. If you can swing it, it's worth the money. Because it takes 2 hours to get out there, don't forget. So, and that is Sydney from the other side of it, the Darling Harbor side, and it's got a monorail for older people and center
Well,
point.
no, it was sold to Sydney by Lyle Landley.
Was it?
No.
Oh,
monorail.
Oh, that's a Simpson.
Yes. I thought it was hilarious.
You sounded like you were really onto some knowledge there, Scotty.
I know. Don't you? Come on, man. What do you invite me for?
I know. So this is crabbing in Western Australia, off the coast, in the estuary, in Bunbury Estuary. And I didn't know you weren't supposed to wear bare feet because all the poisonous thingies, but I used to do it all the time and never for hours. But yeah, crabbing, folks, crabbing with the floating cooler behind you. Carries
awesome.
the crabs and the beers. Christmas and palm trees. I did have trouble. I think I've spent 3 or 4 Christmases in Perth, in Western Australia, in Bunbury and Perth, and it was just weird to see Santa in shorts and a Christmas tree with palm trees in the malls.
Well, and when I ended up showing up in Australia in like the end of January, and so there were some shopping malls that still had signs that said Boxing Day sales, or sorry, summer sales, summertime sales,
because it
start
is
on Boxing Day.
No, that just
what?
Wow. Yep. So this is the Cape Tribulation in the Daintree Rainforest up in far north Queensland on the northeast coast, a UNESCO World Heritage Site just north of Cairns. Just gorgeous rainforest. You wouldn't want to go walking through there without a stick, at least.
Well, no, it looks stick appropriate. Yeah, I would take a stick.
And this is the wilds of west coast, Western Australia, not on the coast. We're inland quite a few hours at Karanjini National Park. There's the pinnacles.
Are you making love to it or peeing to it?
Well, it started with one and led to the other.
Well, that makes sense. It's a very attractive pinnacle. Looks like they could party.
Cuttlefish at the Sydney Aquarium, because there are lots of cuttlefish, but they don't stay around long in the wild. So yeah, and Port Douglas again, Port Douglas, far north Queensland, love it. Yeah, so there's pretty much most of the photos again.
Twice.
It's been almost 3 hours, so I'm getting tired. So yeah, there is the first photo gain. Remember that guy? That's a 3-foot-long monitor lizard.
That's the first time I've seen.
And then we go back to he was the first one. and I distracted you.
I can't tell by the coloring.
No, they were all over. Nasty, poisonous things. And Gnomesville again.
No, I like the gnomes. It's like they're welcoming me back to civilization.
I don't know at night though. This should be this might make an interesting thumbnail for this live stream.
I like it.
Yeah. It will get people's attention.
It's up to, well, I don't know. It depends. Maybe they're upset with gnomes.
a gnome phobia.
A gnome
feet.
I don't even know how
I don't know, but I want a gnome phobia.
A gnomophobia.
A gnomophobia?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Gnomophobia. Yeah. Something like that. I take a lot of pictures of fish. I like fish.
Yes. Red snapper specifically.
Yeah. I know. Specifically. I took some pictures of meat curtains in here. I'll show you later. Scotty?
No, those are yours. Those are your private stash.
Yes. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed the pictures twice around Sydney Harbour Bridge. But I think it's about time to wrap up the stream. Scotty,
do you want me to go before you wrap up?
Not at all, sir. No, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Well, what are your final thoughts on Australia? What are your final thoughts on the food and the people and living in Australia? And would you have done it for longer or sooner?
I don't have any final thoughts because it sounds like you're going to be continuing on with the show, and I think that I would
I'm
like to
wrapping
leave
up.
the. No. I mean, in terms of new installments.
Oh, part 2 and part 3.
Like
Yes.
following up on like it deserves
absolutely.
more of a show. I don't have any final thoughts. I don't know if I'm going to contribute anymore, but I'm just saying, like, I think it's a beautiful place that is just naturally wonderful. I didn't partake in all the natural wonders, but that's why these kind of conversations are cool, because you did, and I get to see your radness. And
Thanks,
like,
man.
I just think
love
the
talking about it.
culture, the food, the
Yep.
like everything, it's a glorious place, and I recommend enjoying it for yourself. But it's a pleasure to reminisce with you.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more, Scotty. And I just hope that it's not so expensive as far as the exchange rate goes for Canadians. Because there used to be, the first time I was there with the Boy Scouts in 1987 for the World Jamboree, it was 85 cents Canadian made, $1 Australian. Actually, I almost forgot. Shit, how could I end the stream without... This is the hat that I wore as a Boy Scout to that Jamboree in 1987. And
Delicious.
it says, yeah, well, there it is. There's the Australian World Jamboree.
Oh wow.
And it said, and I didn't understand this for years. And it says Australian pies or scouts. Australian pies for scouts. So I didn't realize what a big thing the meat pie is to the Australian culture.
Yeah.
It's like our maple syrup.
Yeah.
And there is one place in Canada. If you find yourself, Scotty, in Whistler Ski Resort in British Columbia.
All right. I'm going to have to start walking.
You go up to, yeah, well, hey, if Terry Fox can do it on one leg. Come on.
You have a good point. You have a very good point.
Literally on one leg.
Do I have to start at the East Coast?
That would be foolish.
Yes.
Shakespeare's Pies. Australian friends of mine own it, and they do make a real authentic Australian pie.
Huh.
So thanks for being here, everybody. I really appreciate it. Big Dave K, Edge of Time, LDG. I know Dalek has been to Australia several times. He's got family, so I'd love to have him on. When in Nome, do as the Alaskans. Makes sense to me. Oh, can you please read this and we'll finish it?
Edge of Time says, I'm identifying as disordered eating animals today.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Yes, he was. Now that's the theme. All right. Thanks, William Shakespeare, for being here. Dalek, thanks for being here. Carla, who was here earlier. Mr. Angel, before you had to leave for work, you were here for almost the entire stream. So thanks so much. William Shakespeare, who was my co-host on two of these, doing Spain, which was fun. And Spain is such a big, I'm going to be doing Spain again with Cam, who possibly this coming Thursday next week, because he's run with the Bulls like 19 times.
I think
I know.
All my stars are going to have to tune in for that.
Yeah. So next, so we did Spain and some of Gibraltar. Most of my photos from this last Thursday. So next Thursday, if all goes well, we'll have Cam on, and we're going to be talking a lot about running with the Bulls. And he's got some photos that apparently are pretty cool. So we'll see. Thanks for being here, Scotty. Thanks to everybody. Have a good night, everybody. Good night.